Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Amigos Racing Team once again. It's SuperSquid. Unfortunately, you stuck with me for one more evening this week, but I can promise it's going to be the best because we must save the best till last. You are tuning in for another special edition of the Amigos Racing Team Roulette race format pioneered by this man, ART No Hassle. One of the many special events you offer during our GT Fusion Specials week. But if you want to get involved in some serious league racing as well, you can find a link to our Discord in the description after this video or in any of our previous content. Feel free to scroll through the channel, and while you're there, drop a subscription, even a like or a comment. It would be massively appreciated. So the roulette race format, for those of you who are not currently aware, is normally each driver will be given one car for 5 rounds, and I'll pick the tracks off of my phone on a roulette app that No Hassle kindly shared with me. We'll have a 7-minute qualifying session followed by a 15-minute endurance race. However, because we're doing a little bit something special tonight, we're going to have 5 cars with 5 random tracks. So the order of the cars is random. I'll pick that just based on what I feel like, to be honest. But the tracks will still be picked as they have always been. So I've told the drivers we're starting off in the BMW M3. And our first track, we spin the wheel. Kicking off, incredibly annoying, is going to be just ticked over. We'll be heading to Sainte Croix the C layout here. So let's change that over very quickly. Spring, Sainte Croix C. Make sure it's nice and sunny for everybody. And we'll be underway in a few moments. I do apologise if you can hear what something sounds like gunfire or exploding outside my house. There may well be fireworks, but there is most definitely an East Asian event going on across the road. Maybe a birthday or a wedding or some other wonderful occasion. I'm very happy for the people involved, of course, but it may produce a little bit extra background noise. So I apologise in advance. So once our drivers get going, we're going to jump straight into our 7-minute qualifying session and then our 15-minute special race. All drivers are using racing hard tyres, so hopefully you get things a little bit slidey. And there'll be no tyre wear, no fuel consumption, so it's going to be flat out sprints the whole way around. We've got Lays in the chat there thinking that Terminator's going to be taking the win. I think that's slightly biased, but we'll have to see how it turns out. Richie in the game chat there saying, "I hate you already." Thanks, Richie. I'm glad we've struck a nerve. Maybe not the one I was hoping for, but at least he's got his attention. So hopefully we'll see how he does around here. We just need our 3 last drivers to get on circuit, and we will be ready to go. Let's give him a friendly reminder. Oh, my caps lock is broken. Once we're all on track, we will be underway. So I'll wait for them all to get on the road. Have a quick look at some of our contenders for tonight. We have Urban Fire in the black BMW there. Just behind him is Terminator with the iconic M Division stripes. We've got Bradley Carter here in the default dark blue BMW there. No Hassle in his iconic Squid Game livery there. Can't remember which ART member he's referencing tonight. We've got Mr. Tiddlywink. I believe this is his first time in the roulette race. In a very striking purple Beamer. We've got Carl Toner there in the red number 58 there. It's been a while since we've seen Carl Toner on track. It's lovely to have him back. We've got the mad lad on the pad once again, Willie D. I think practicing his launch there, trying to avoid the wheel spin. And from the humble guys, we have THG Richie in the Hitman livery style. It looks there, the silver BMW. I think we're just waiting as well for Dawes to grab his car. So while I do that, we'll ride on board with No Hassle. Make sure I confirm that I've seen that message for them. So we'll ride on board there. No Hassel gets a little bit of understeer. No Hassel, infamous in Amigos racing team for his enthusiasm for a good barrier or even a pit wall if he's feeling particularly spicy. We're watching as he heads over the bridge here at Saint Croix. Fairly early in the brakes, of course. He's the BMW M3, fairly adequate as a sporty saloon, but still fairly heavy car here. So we double check as our drivers are finishing up there. The M3 weighing in just over 1.5 tons, so similar to that Viper that you would have seen last night. It can be a little bit boaty if we're not careful. So I'm just going to make sure that Fiona knows to get on track. I spoke to Fiona earlier tonight. She doesn't want to be in the qualifying, but actually I think she's going to be missing the first race. Let me double check. Let's see. She's missed the first race. In that case, we're going to get started with our qualifying session. We've got DM Charles there in the chat. Unfortunately, was not able to quite make it home in time to race with us tonight, but he says his bet is on No Hassel to take the win here in France. We'll have to see though. Again, the 7-minute qualifying should give the drivers, I would say, maybe 3 laps to get a good time in before we hit the main race. But we will have to see. Oh, and one actually I should have probably checked. All of us are driving on the same settings. I've not seen any BMWs with crazy power. No, we are all good. So I didn't even put the BOP on, and we're doing fairly well. Mistake on my part, but nonetheless, we are underway for qualifying. The question is, even these BMWs, they might not be particularly great on the brakes or in the corners, but they do accelerate like rocket ships, and the slipstream will be crucial around this circuit, especially on those short and extra long straights, particularly the ones heading into the 4th sector there, I think, and over the bridge, and of course the home straight and the 2nd straight. So we can see here just a little bit of jostling there between Bradley Carter in currently first around the circuit there, No Hassel in 2nd, Terminator in 3rd there, and a little bit of bump on his front doors, who's a late entrant, but a welcome nonetheless. So just while we're getting ourselves around the track and ready for our first event, I'll get you some quick stats on the M3 just while we're lining up for our outlap. So BMW M3, we've got a 6-speed manual transmission, 415 horsepower. As I said, just over 1.5 tons, all the power going to the back wheels as it should. The M3 really, the BMW are infamous with their sports saloons, their sports sedans. Almost every car that they come out with in the M class is the benchmark car. You know, you've got your RS3s or your Mercedes C class. They're always compared to the M3 or your Audi RS5 or 6. Or your Mercedes E class, again, always compared to the M5. Even the other brands marketing like Jaguar or Tesla as well, I suppose, to an extent, are all compared to the M5. It is the benchmark car, and of course the M3 being maybe the baby M5, as it were. You can see as we follow on board with doors there, up into 5th gear and nudging 140 miles an hour down the longest straight here at Saint Croix. Make that 155, that's about 260 k's now, up into 6th gear and get ready for braking zone. Is 200 metres too late? We'll have to see. No, he just about gets it stopped, I think, at 150. No Hassel, on the other hand, isn't quite so lucky and gets to taste a little bit of barrier. So in fact, I think we might only have time for 1 lap here at Saint Croix. So this really is a make or break qualifying session for our first event here for tonight. And again, if you want to get involved with Amigos Racing Team, There will be a link in the description to our Discord channel where you can get involved in sign up to various leagues. We've got things ranging from 2 to 3 hour endurance leagues on a Sunday once a month, all the way down to our very new Mazda Progression series, where you can, if you're more of a beginner driver or you have less time to practice, you'd be more than welcome to join in with some of the more experienced drivers, get a bit of driver coaching from some of our elite competitors. And yeah, it should be a good time for you all in all. I would also recommend Beardy's Beetles on a Wednesday. It's really good fun. It's definitely worth getting into. Just for the time being. There we go. So you should have a link in the Discord now if you want to get involved with our leagues. We got Fiona in the chat saying hi, join these guys, they do awesome racing. Thank you much for the help, Fiona. I do hope we do awesome racing. Thank also to the preview who are currently watching, and the 2 of you who dropped a like on the video already. You are the legends. Real amigos. So I think we've followed doors maybe for slightly longer now, as I've been looking away. I think we'll check in with the lad on the pad, Willie D, as he gets a little bit sideways and then a little bit understeery out of that first tight hairpin there. This little composite is quite incredibly tight and tricky, especially these very boaty BMWs. I think a couple of weeks ago we had a really interesting set of Group 1 races around here. And those are LMP1 machines flying through these corners, all the downforce they generate. It was a real pleasure to drive some of those. I think I managed to take home a couple of podiums, which was nice. We'll have to see if Willie D can find himself up on the podium at the end of this. So you can see on the right hand there, we've only got just over a minute of qualifying, so it will be a one-shot session, I think. Willie D holding wide out to the right, trying to clip as much of that curb he can left. Crucially avoiding the gravel. We can see some time marks in there already, so somebody's been for a play in the sand, but this is not the beach and not where he wants to be today. Throwing it to the left, trying to clip the inside of that curve. A very good stretch there from Willie D, using the raised curve there to hook the car into the corner, get a little bit more rotation through the back. He's going to keep that weight forward on the car now as he leans on the brakes. That front left tyre really compressed into the road. It just about keeps it in one place. Throwing the back out for good measure, and now flat out across the bridge. I think Willie D might well be on for a pole position here. This is a really clean, tidy lap so far. We'll stay on board with him then. And he now comes across the end of the bridge onto the brakes just after the 150 board. Comes up fairly well. Again, trying to get that tyre hooked in. There's the rotation, and now back on the power. Use all that torque from that naturally aspirated V8 engine. And that's probably the hardest corner on the track, balancing the brake and the throttle, just to get the right amount of rotation in the car. He's flat very early, you have to lift off again though, just to avoid that tiny bit of curb on the end, on the barrier. And now he's flat out. You can see the speedo there. I'll leave those on the screen for you now. You've got your kilometres on the dashboard and your miles now up on the HUD. So they're about 250 k's. He's going to be nudging in just a moment there, 150 miles an hour. Incredible engine in this BMW as well. V8 revs up to 8,500 RPM on a good day. Not something to be sniffed at. Now he's on the brakes, just after nudging the 6th gear there. A little bit wide of that apex. He's trying to shift down early, get the back out, and put the power down. But he's not quite made that. He's run very wide. We'll have to see where he's going to put him on the grid. It's still been a clean lap so far. If he can have a neat last sector, he might still salvage it. Yeah, but he's got to be dabbing the brakes now, getting that car turned in. Plenty of curb on the inside. Fantastic stuff. Keeps it to the right, avoiding the grass. I'm now going to watch him take these last few corners there. Again, a little wide at apex. The BMW washing out ever so slightly, but takes that right hander fairly well. Leading out to the left side one more time for this blind right hander. It doesn't seem to end. One of the most painful corners on the circuit. You see there, Willie D feathering the throttle. Now he's flat, running wide towards the exit and out for the last corner here. The Terminator there set the pace with a 4-minute 1. Is anyone going to beat him? Model Chemist takes P1 there with a 3:58. No Hassle cannot get P1 for the time being. Where is Willie D going to finish? It's going to be very close. And there it is, a 3:57.7. So actually, so over half a second, I think, faster than his next closest. Cantone's about to cross the line next. He's definitely in chance for pole position. Nor is Urban Fire with a huge slide there off the edge of the circuit. So our next closest contender might well be this man here, THG Richie, but even then, he's quite well off the pace. In fact, he's not going to make 3:57 before even the last corner. We see that Urban Fire slots into 7th after his huge slide there. He'll be regretting that. Hoping he can make a good getaway off the grid as Richie throws that BMW in, washing wide and about to cross the line there. In fact, he's going to dive into the pit, but he's supposed to start from last anyway, so it'll be Mr. Tiddywink crossing the line, I believe, to take P9. And Richie will round out the standards with no time set. So we're about to get underway here at Saint Croix. The other thing, because Richie has... he's had a little bit to drink. Okay, fair enough. So we're about to get underway here at Saint Croix. And there we go. There is our start. Let's have a quick look at Richie. He already made an excellent start there, up into 8th place. We'll stay on board with him, see just how many places he can make. 2 off the grid. That's a 3rd place there as he gets past Urban Fire on the right-hand side. There goes Dawes. He just looks to the right and he does a little bit of a bump there. Dawes survives the barrier. Now the braking zone. Where are we stopping for turn 1? Richie looking to go around the outside of Dawes. I'm just going to turn the camera for you again. He's still held that line. Second gear, Dawes is going to shut that door on him, but Willie D's not had a good exit there. Pole position finds himself down in P5. He's going to be flanked by Dawes and Richie, and now we're going to head outside and see just how close this battle is. Look at that. 3 wide in 2 different groups there. That Muddled Chemist is very bright car in there. Richie trying to outbrake Dawes and Willie D. He does so and puts himself up into P4, maybe even P3 as it only just bumped the barrier instead, so no luck there for Richie. But still, an ecstatic amount of progress there from him up into P5, 5 places in 3 corners. It's not something to be dismissed. What does he be dismissed though? Dawes returns to the background there, half a second before exceeding the track limit. We don't have the contact penalties on because of course not many people will drive the road cars. It can cause a bit of a faff, but you've still got to respect the track limits. Speaking of respect though, we are going to jump to the front because it's like Muddled Chemist is side by side with Terminator going into the left-hander. Terminator going to go clean around the outside. They're still side by side, I believe. They head into the second left-hander. And Terminator is trying to make his move. He might end up in the gravel. He does indeed end up in the gravel. And there's a spin, unfortunately, for the Terminator. We're very, very unfortunate for him. Where is he now? At the very back of the pack. Poor guy. Let's have a quick look and see what's happened there. So he's just on the outside of Muddled Chemist there. As I look left for you there, he's on the turning left. Just cannot get it turned around enough. As he puts his foot down, even the traction control cannot save him. And he finds himself spinning around, unfortunately. We'll jump back to Muddled Chemist though, who is currently in the lead as they head over the bridge for the first time. But Richie up into P2 and Bradley Carter just behind him in P3. That's an amazing start from the THG man there. Bradley Carter though in the slipstream of Muddled Chemist, trying to make sure that he can fend off both those cars by letting them share the slipstream each. Who's going to come on top on the straight? So Richie's going inside Bradley Carter there. Late move to take P2 and he's clear now of the blue BMW. Now we've got to make sure we balance that car through the corner there. Muddled Chemist getting a little bit of a slide on to kick the back out and get it pointing the right way for the straight. But Richie is closing in very quickly. We'll ride on board there with Muddled Chemist. Is that My Little Pony? I don't think I've ever seen that in the BMW. This definitely is no pony car. So I'm going to be going horse. Making people crazy shouting about this. Richie though is looking at the inside, maybe a little bit more slipstream, and now he's pulled to the left. The braking zone is coming up. Is Richie going to make his move? Not for the time being, but has Muddled Chemist gone a little bit too late? No, he's going to make the apex, but he's running wide. There's the bumper of Richie just in the background there, and Bradley Carter is still looming on that pair as well. Muddled Chemist retains the lead for the time being. Richie in P2, Bradley Carter in P3. We don't got no hassle. Bit of an air gap the inside of him in P4. He comes Dawes in 5th. Woody D 6th, and side by side with Urban Fire. He's now going to concede P6 to Urban Fire. Urban Fire goes very wide there, straight to the barrier. Woody D keeps on the grass but out of the wall and claims P6 back. from Urban Fire, and this is now going to invite Terminator and Tiddlywink into the battle, and possibly even Cantona from the back at P10. Actually, so I look at the front as well, that No Hassle has made his way up in at P2. I completely missed something important there. Up into P3, so Bradley Carter made a mistake somewhere, and there's Richie on the grass, cannot get the grip to turn that car. No Hassle will go clean around the outside. Excellent work from him. But he's got 5 seconds up the road to Mudgel Chemist from the Netherlands. He's really got some time to make up now. There's Richie in third, Dawes in fourth in the slipstream, Bradley Carter in fifth, Willie D sixth. Down the road there's Terminator in seventh. Then we have Urban Fire in P8, Cantona in ninth, and Mr. Tiddlywink, unfortunately, at the back, currently in P10. And that brings us to the 10.5 minute mark, so we are almost a third of the way through. We'll jump back on board there with Richie, because he was in the battle with Dawes. He is indeed in the battle with Dawes. Let's see how he does now, riding on board there with Richie, trying to get into the slipstream of Dawes, but he may well also have the slipstream of No Hassle. Are we going to see a late lunge into the hairpin? 200 metres is not enough. He's a little bit later on the brakes than Dawes. Has he seen him? Dawes has left the space, and he will keep third place. Richie there in P4 temporarily. I think that P5's Bradley Carter has actually gone clean around the outside of Richie, so much better exit with Bradley Carter. So Richie, after that electric start, is now starting to fall a little bit back down the order instead of up it. He needs to get a move on if he wants to be on that podium spot. He is saying the track he's not particularly keen on this track, but it's always going to be a learning experience, and hopefully he'll learn how to make some places very soon. Quickly, maybe a little bit further down the road, and any battles going on down here, maybe for P9. Oh, we say that Mr. Tiddlywink flies into that barrier. BMW has definitely seen better days. Let's see if we can have a look at what's happened here. So, full speed ahead with Mr. Tiddlywink, and he's just not quite put the brakes in time, straight into the wall there, and a spoon for good measure with full throttle. He's going to be regretting that one. He'll be feeling that in the morning. It jumps a little bit up the pack. We see Terminator trying to capitalise now on a Willie D mistake around the outside to head into this downhill right-hander. And I think Willie D will let that one go, but as long as he can stay in the slipstream, I'm sure he'll have him back as they head along the long straight at the bottom of the track there. I'm also going to slide forward a bit now. We can see that Richie trying to get back at Bradley Carter, and ahead of him, I believe, is Dawes trying to get on the tail of No Hassle. Mudgel Chemist already 8 seconds up the road from these guys by fighting. It's made about 5 seconds to get up the road from No Hassle. Really got to get a move on if they want to be anywhere near victory for our first round tonight. So it's a train of 4 cars. We've got Richie almost pushing Bradley Carter down the hill there. Bradley is just about on the coattails of Dawes' slipstream. We could see a 4-car slipstream train here as they head up the straight. And what we'll do now, I think, is we'll ride on board with No Hassle at the front of the train and just see how much time these cars might gain on him. He's revving the absolute nuts on that BMW there, trying to extract all the power he can. Dawes is staying with him though, as we can see a little bit of looking around in the mirrors there from Richie, in the mirrors of Bradley Carter. Don't think Dawes is close to making a move yet on No Hassle. We'll see Richie make a move on Bradley. No, well, Hassle's gone very wide. Dawes is on the inside, but No Hassle shuts the door indeed. No room there, no push to pass from ART Dawes. He now finds himself under threat from Bradley Carter though. And watching all this fighting again is THG Richie, looking to capitalise on the mistake possibly here. Both of those blue BMWs run wide. Bradley Carter hits the wall, bounces off of it. THG Richie now into P4. No Hassle using a very wide line there. Dawes having to sniff up the inside. Richie again a little bit deep into that corner. He's not enjoying it at all. Bradley Carter will probably have this place back in a moment to see where he goes. Very close to making contact there, but a quick dive up the inside puts pace to that. It really is kicking off here, isn't it? I think we've seen the map that Mr. Tiddlywink had another spin of the hairpin, unfortunately for him. And jump back a little bit, see Terminator watching Richie and Bradley having a fight there. Willie D though is a fair way up the road from that back as well. He's got some catching up to do. We've got Cantona at the back here in 8th place, and just that second a bit behind him there is Urban Fire. Khan hopefully going to pull away from him now and make some gains on Willie D. Having said that, Cantona is fairly wide through that corner there. See how Urban Fire makes it, and again also wide from him too. I mean, it'll be a little more slow and fast out, I think, on that one, guys. So we have to see how they work that one out. get back to the front of that battle. I think it was for maybe P2 ultimately. In fact, we got all of our contenders now on the back straight there. I'll say the back straight, front straight. We've got no hassle there with about a second down to Dawes, a second down to Bradley Carter, a second down to Richie, and about half a second now there back to Terminator. He was also only about a second away from Willie D. So one mistake from someone at the front, and I'm sure we'll see them lose a handful of places. Have a quick look there, and Bradley Carter only took another slow down penalty there. He's really got to make sure he's focused on those track limits. He saw that penalty as he heads through that that very tough, tightening right-hander there. Very tricky to get right, so we're already turning into the braking zone. But one person who has been doing it right is this man here, Muddled Chemist, with a 10-second lead now over No Hassle. He's done an incredible job so far tonight. Will he find everything else as easy this evening? We'll have to find out in the next few races. But it seems like this is his race to lose, as we have just over 5 minutes left. So I assume that'll be this lap and another. No Hassle, little graze on the wall there, but he's still extending his lead over Bradley Carter. If you look back there, Bradley Carter's still a little bit under threat from ART Dawes. Is that Iron Man in the cockpit there? It looks like it might be, but I thought Iron Man was more of an Audi fella. I'm sure the guys at Disney and Marvel are going to have some words with Dawes after the race. In the meantime, though, we've got THG Richie just trying to get away there from Willie D, who's now under threat from Terminator. Going to look into the right, trying to maybe poke it head past, but no luck for that. Terminator staying behind though. He's going to go for the dive bomb now. He's late on the brakes. He does make the corner, but I think Willie D is probably going to be quite happy with that, knowing that he can have him back down the main straight. If not on this corner now, side by side into the long sweeping right-hander. It's not what you want to be going side by side, especially if Terminator washes out the apex, which he does ever so slightly, but Willie D just avoids the wall. We'll have to see now if Willie D can make a move past the Terminator. They are side by side. It's going to be the longest drag race you've seen in a long time. The head down the long straight there. Willie D just pulling ahead of Terminator, but still on the inside. He might want to make that move into the corner. Ducking back into situ there from Terminator. Now he's got the advantage. Is he going to be side by side with Willie D into the right-hander? No, but he's much earlier on the brakes. Willie D extremely late on the brakes there and off into the grass. And Terminator is back into P6. We'll jump with P5 though, as Dawes and Richie are still having a ding-dong battle. Dawes nowhere near the apex there, but Richie far too close to the left, meaning Dawes will sneak underneath him into P4 and just keeping it on the track there. Great driving there from Dawes. Now see that if Richie has learned his lesson, third time lucky, and it believes he has, he keeps that BMW planted through the sweeping left, and now to the right. He's closing down on Dawes slowly but surely. Dawes, however, is also closing on Bradley Carter, so hopefully Richie will seize the chance to put himself back up onto the podium after, as we say, an amazing start from the back of the grid. While we mention the back of the grid, we'll have a quick check-in on Tiddlywink, who I believe is making his way round to the long straight there. I think he's on the pause menu, so maybe he's going to sit this one out, maybe grab a cup of tea and come back for the next one. I don't blame him. It's a tricky circuit to do, and it's a baptism of fire through the roulette race. So a recap there as we head on to what should be the last lap of the race. We have Muddled Chemist in P1 by 11 seconds, would you believe? We've got there No Hassle in second place, just a second ahead of Bradley Carter, half a second up on Dawes, who's now 2 seconds up on the battling Terminator and Richie. Willie D in 7th place, 2.5 seconds away from their battle. He's managed to eke out 28 seconds there to Cantona, who's come on to the last lap now. And in 9th place we have Urban Fire, about to start lap 4. Still running quite wide there in the BMW, just about clipping the wall. Of course, there's no damage on for tonight, which I think some of our drivers will be fairly grateful for. But one thing I'm grateful for, though, is some of the great fighting we've seen already in only race 1 of 5 tonight. We're going to get back to this battling here. We jump on board with, let's see, Bradley Carter jumping the inside there of Dawes, the blue BMW side by side. Bradley Carter again with that penalty. He's really got to ditch that at some point soon. Dawes will use that as an opportunity to try and get the inside of Bradley Carter. He's late on the brakes, but Bradley's now ditching that penalty. Now he can put his foot down and race. He takes a tighter inside line. A little bit of door bump in there with him and Dawes, but he's now on the inside. for his chance to claim P3, which he does. Clean pass up the inside there from Bradley Carter. That battling will now bring Terminator into the fray there, skulking back there in P5 with 2 and a bit seconds up, maybe 3 seconds up now on Richie, who now seems to be going backwards as he's under threat from Willie D up the inside of him there into P6. Richie down to 7th now. Really falling apart for him these last few minutes of the race, the last minute of the race I should say, as the clock ticks down to 54 seconds. So Terminator and Dawes are still changing places there. So it's now up into P4, Dawes into P5. Can Terminator chase down that other blue beamer? We'll have to see as they head around the last half of the track here. So no moves for the time being. I think you can see there Richie having a quick twitch there behind Willie D, just to see if he can fend him off, maybe put up in the braking zone. Willie D very sideways there. Richie not quite as impressive into the wall. And he's just falling up the slipstream. You can see on the left hand side there, that's 7 and a bit tenths. He's to be about 0.75 to be in the slipstream. And Richie has now lost that to Willie D, who now has the slipstream from Dawes. Dawes moving to the right there, trying to break the toe there. But Willie D is now on song, that V8 singing there as he hits into 5th gear. 150 miles an hour. He's only 2 tenths behind Dawes. Make that 1.5 tenths. Make that 1 tenth. He now pulls to the right hand side up into 6th gear. Will he find the braking zone this time? I'd break that now, Dan. It does break. Dawes is a little bit late on the brakes, but with the inside line, there should be Willie D's corner. He's gone very sideways, very aggressive defending, but Dawes is forced to the outside, and Willie D takes P5. But I don't think Dawes is going to give that up lightly. We're going to ride on board with Dawes as he tries to make his claim back for 5th place, but not like that on the grass, scraping the barrier. He's not going to have any luck there, and he's losing time now to Willie D and Terminator, and Richie's trying to close in behind. You see him in the left mirror there, just lurking behind him, looking to the right now. There he is in the rearview mirror. Can Richie make a place now in the last few seconds? We'll get that bell very quickly as we see Muddled Chemist cross the line for the first win of tonight's 5 races in the Roulette series. Well done to Muddled Chemist, a very convincing victory. No hassle to cross line in P2, excellent finish from him. Bradley Carter 3rd, Terminator 4th, Willie D almost in 5th, but does snag a fastest lap. Well done Willie D. Richie facing the wrong way, but crossed the line in reverse to take P6. He'll rub that in the face of Dawes, who finishes in 7th. A bit of an angry bump there from the blue beamer. We've got Cartona hopefully about to cross the line soon in P8. So we'll ride on board there with Khan as he makes his way around to the finish line. Nope, having said that, maybe a bit of a curse to the commentator there as Khan has a very close escape there with the barrier. He crosses the line then to take P8. You see Urban's line coming in the last corner. Has he finally nailed it? Oh, that's close enough. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. He will take P9. I'm sure you can see him now weaving along the straight. I'm sure he's just happy to finish at this race. It's by no means a common track in Gran Turismo, but it mixes things up. It gives us something different to watch. So our last one's cross line will be Mr. Tiddlywink. I'm a little concerned that I haven't got the event finishing time set. We may well be waiting another minute 20 seconds for Mr. Tiddlywink. But he is back at the wheel, fortunately, in the final 2 sectors. Let's watch him as he makes his way through the curves of Saint Croix. Do that, we'll spin the wheel and find our next track. There we go, as Mr. Tiddlywink crosses the line to take P10 for the first race, and gives me a little reminder to sort out my lobby settings. We'll do what we always do in the room. We're going to jump into the party chat, quick interview with one or two of our drivers, see how they felt the race went, and then we'll get going. Brad in the chat saying, hello Squid. Hello Brad, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're going to hear from a couple of you in a moment. Where are we? There's the chat, and there's the party. Good evening, everybody. You're live on ART. Please do not swear. Unfortunately, Muddle Chemist doesn't have a microphone to hand, so we'll go to our runner-up, ART No Hassle. Firstly, again, No Hassle, thanks for the brainwave of a race format. Very popular.
You're welcome. You worked on it too.
I also got a little bit of an echo in the chat. I think Fiona's got a mic very close to something else.
Sorry, it's my other TV for Richie. I do apologise. Sorry.
That's okay. No worries. There we go. That seems to be okay now. So, yeah, No Hassle. P2, but you had to fight for that one, didn't you?
Yeah, because I just can't drive. And also, I'm sponsored by Thatcher's tonight. Thatcher's cider, and it's been quite a few. So it's a competition between me and Richie who will get drunk the most.
I see. So
get better.
I mean, I'm not sure if this counts as performance-enhancing substances, but we'll call it race fuel. And
yeah, absolutely.
Let's hope that the tank stays full tonight. Then we'll also have a quick chat with Terminator. You there, Terminator?
Yeah, I'm here.
You had a lot of tense battling there. I think who was your favourite contender in that event? Who was your favourite rival?
Not the guy who won the race, but the mid-pack was good.
The mid-pack was good. I think he did pull off. He did have to really fight off there against Willie D to get 4th place. He did a fantastic job there. Well done.
He killed himself a couple of times, so
most of the time.
Not to worry.
Okay, well, we'll have to see if we can keep it clean, guys. The next car you're going to need for tonight is going to be... if I check what we're using again, I cannot remember for the life of me. You're going to be using the Corvette, please.
Oh yeah, baby.
And the track, I'll reveal to you in just a moment. Corvette is N5. That reminds me also, I'll put the BOP on for you, so I don't forget to do that. I'll put the race finish down to 30 seconds. Oh, is it N5, did I say? N5. Okay. So I'll change the event and I'll see you guys in the next race. Have a good one.
Bye, Squiddy.
Of course, the iconic tones of ART Doors. It's been a while since we had a catch up with him as well. So our next track, we are heading to the epicenter of many an F1 penalty, fine, and various incidents on and off track. The Autodromo, or the Autodromo de Interlagos, we should say. We're heading to Brazil. Of course, it's I'm sure if you've not been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you'll be well aware of the ongoings between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen here in Brazil. They're touching each other's wings, looking around the car, bits being wider than they should be, and of course some interesting uses of the track limits and driver etiquette, and perhaps the non-investigations from the FIA. But if you have seen it, please put in the comments. It'd be interesting to know, who do you think was at fault for the Hamilton-Verstappen, let's say, extension at turn 4 there? I personally believe it was a bad call on Verstappen's part, as he went very deep, didn't brake and didn't turn. But I could be wrong. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. So please put a comment in the video. Who was at fault for the incident? I know Hamilton won, but I think there is something to talk about there. So, drivers are now about to roll up in the Corvette Stingray 2014. So, similar power to the BMW, but just a touch lighter and hopefully a little bit more balanced for some more enthusiastic driving, shall we say. So again, once everybody's on track, we'll get underway. I'm just going to put the car in the chat to make sure we all know what we're driving. It's 2014, isn't it? It's 2014. This is probably where I find out that some of us have got the wrong car, we didn't buy it, or whatever, because this always happens for the roulette. But hopefully we'll be starting the race very soon. But yeah, so as we say, just while we're waiting for them to get on track, let me know what your thoughts are on the recent Grand Prix, on the incidents that we saw, the decisions or lack thereof that we had. So again, I think Verstappen was at fault there. I am a Lewis Hamilton fan, I will say. I mean, Lewis is just a great name anyway. So it's inspiring. They produce great drivers and commentators, of course. But I do think Verstappen at that point should have conceded the place. We all saw the footage. Hamilton was ahead, and I think it's just a bit of a bad call on his part, trying not to give up the championship. Of course, you know you can't give up the championship, especially when you're in a chance of winning your first one, but not the right call, at least from my point of view. So just while they are getting acquainted out here, we can have a look at anybody finding their way around the track. There's Dawes, just in time to see Dawes execute a 180 into a corner where Hamilton was also involved a couple of years ago, taking out Alex Albon, very unfortunately. As I believe Albon was on board to get his first, was it maybe his first podium, I think? If not his first win, I believe it was one of those two. You know, I feel really bad for the guy, but I'm very glad to see him returning to Formula One with Williams, and I really hope this is what restarts his career, gives him that extra second wind, as it were. Meantime, we see how Fire handles his way around the tricky middle section at Interlagos again. Corvette is still 1.5 tons, a little bit on the hefty side. You can see he's really pushing down on those tyres as he throws full lock into those corners. But again, another big whacking V8 in these cars. Excellent balance. I think the quad tailpipes, what's not to love? You watch the Willie D there, head around from start to finish straight. Might just be nudging 160 miles an hour as he hits the brakes into turn one. But not quite hit the brakes early enough, it seems. He runs very wide, keeps it in a straight line just about, and a lovely save to rejoin the track. Well done, Willie D. Let's quickly check for one last time on Richie and Fiona. If they're not able to join, we will have to go without them. So there's one, there's two, and if not, we'll get the quali underway. Actually, a quick drink just while we wait for them. So it seems like we have Richie on track and Fiona. Fantastic. In that case, we will get the qualifier underway. Very exciting livery there from No Hassle. Yeah, he's spinning around there as a Barbie girl in his Barbie world. It looks like we'll be runnable there, maybe perhaps with Terminator, in fact, as they make their way out of the pit lane. The exact view I was hoping for. Very helpful, thanks Gran Turismo. Richie, it seems, is still consuming excess race fuel, I think, just to keep that one as clean as possible. But we'll see how the drivers get on as they make their way around Interlagos. Again, a very interesting topic, the location of Interlagos here. It's situated right in the heart of Sao Paulo, where you can see the statue of Christ the Redeemer far away in the distance. But also a very poignant dichotomy between the wealth that accompanies Formula One and motorsport in general, the paddock, the VIP, of course all the money that goes into racing, developing, paying for the cars and the drivers and the staff. And then if you look out across the circuit, in the faraway background you can see the favelas and the temporary housing that's put up for the residents of Sao Paulo. It's a huge contrast, a stark contrast. And of course, while Interlagos presents arguably some of the best racing of the year, especially for Formula One, it still is surrounded by poverty. So really, it's a question of ethics. Is the Brazilian Grand Prix something that we should really celebrate, given that there's so many people literally on its doorstep that probably can't afford to feed themselves on a daily basis? It really is an interesting topic. I think that we will put that aside for tonight, though, as we're going to witness some Corvette Stingrays flying around the Autodromo tonight. So we'll stick with Terminator as he finds his way down into turn 4 there, clipping the apex very nicely, and unlike Max Verstappen, keeps it within the track limits, heading down towards the middle sector. Taking the first of the two apexes here at the right-hander, washing out towards the rumble strip, and a little bit squirrely on the brakes there, but does get it stopped with a tight right-hander into the middle sector complex. Right, I think I've got all the names right here. Hang on. I'm quite looking at the right part of the track there. There we go. So we've got the wonderful Portuguese names there. I'm probably going to butcher at some point. I'm more of a Spanish speaking than Portuguese, but we'll see Terminator heading out now onto the... there's a lovely long name here, the Arquibancadas, I believe, and onto the home straight. Model Chemist is setting the benchmark time at for 1:41.5. I don't think he's to be far off. He's not at 1:41.4. And now heavy on the brakes into the centre S. Let's find Carlton as he comes off the track. Willie D very sneaky in the slipstream there. I think he might be the pole sitter for the time being. Not quite though, he's fifth there, so not a good time there for Willie D. He will have maybe 2 more goes at it, as Carlton are very, very deep there into the barrier, in fact, as is Willie D. And as is No Hassle. Only Doors are 4 doors, so I think may have actually made a good attempt there to get into a decent qualifying lap, only to be thrown aside there by the 3 cars going wide. Looking at Doors, nails the braking point there at the first of the 3 corners here at the centre S. And it's completely sideswiped by No Hassle, heading out of the curve of the door onto the Reto Foster. But fortunately he just about keeps it in one piece. He's after the seal of the lugger, and now he's heading towards Ferradura, the first of the 2 right-handers here. So now I've got the track map open in front of me. I seem to remember half the corner names anyway. Yeah, the tight right here of turn 8, now heading into the Pinheirinho, the tight hairpin there of turn 9. Now up to the Rico de Pato, the Duck's Beak as it's called. Turn 10 here, the tight right hand, a little bit of banking to help you around. Now heading in down through Magujo, the left hander, and flying towards Junsao. Turn 12. And on the brakes there, just by the 50 board, take a little bit of rumble strip, nails it perfectly, and flatter on the power now. The tight little kink of turn 13, where I believe a few years ago Kimi Räikkönen went off looking for a reach and went further up the hill, only to turn around and do it again. And Doors finally out there on the subida de boxes, or the climb up towards the stands and the pits. And his qualifying time puts him in P3. Excellent up there from Dawes. He's got time for one more yet. Bradley Carter just behind him there in P4 with a 1:42.6. Muddled Chemist though is still the man to beat as he heads now through the exit of the Sila de Lago, heading now into the second sector. We'll follow him for a little while there as he goes into the first of the two right-handers out of Ferradura. Again, just balancing the throttle. Now he's flat out, getting the tail out very, very wide there. And another slide through the tight right-hander. So of course, really trying to use the momentum, the pendulum effect there of the Corvette, sliding it through the corners. Almost like a Scandinavian flick, as it were, here in Sao Paulo. Again, another slide. Because it might be costing him a little bit more time if he's sliding on the exits rather than through the corners. You can see there, I think he might be on the control as well. All kinds of light flashing there as he presses into the steering wheel, or the steering stick, I suppose. Now into third gear, pushing his way up the hill now for what could be maybe his penultimate lap. He might still have time here to get one more in if he's not been too slow. But we're with a 1 second advantage over P2. I'm not sure if he really needs another lap. He will have a chance at another crack at it. He's not going to beat his personal best, but he has got one more shot. Beyond Terminator, I don't think he's going to have any luck with a 1.2 second penalty looming over his head. He will set a 1:41, but will be bumped down owing to a penalty, and that'll be the end of his qualifying session. Dawes thundering up the hill there in his Corvette. He's going to set a new time, I think, but not far from his current time, nor is Willie D. Here comes Bradley Carter. He got time to beat. He's up into P2, or 1:41.2. Excellent time there from him. No Hassel improves. Cantona improves as well. Excellent stuff. Willie D's now been pushed down into P8. Looks like Richie's not setting the time for the time being. How about Mr. Tiddlywink as he heads through the final couple of corners and onto the grass, in fact. He's a little bit more cross-country than I would have liked there. And once again, he seems to slightly miss the track. As long as he's not spun around though, he seems to be okay. So quickly we can see who's heading up the hill. Is it not No Hassle? It's not going to be No Hassle. It might well be Fiona then heading up the hill, I think. No, she's round the first sector there, so it won't be for Fiona. Who is it heading on the home straight? I cannot find them for the life of me. Well, I suppose I'll find out the second they improve. No, not there. I can't see who that was that's crossed the line. Oh, it must have been Urban Fire. Urban Fire. He stays P5 for the time being. A couple more drivers crossed the line there. Richie, that'll be the end of his qualifying session. He will be in P9, it seems. Here comes Tiddlywink. He's about to set a lap. Well, it's very strange, but okay. So he had a bit of a backwards experience, it seems. But with 30 seconds to go, he will not be improving. And I believe that Fiona has not got time to qualify. So that will be the end of our qualifying session there. Once Fiona makes her way either to the start of the track or the time expires. It looks like it will be Muddled Chemist on pole. Trying to keep P1 all night long, it seems. Bradley Carter will be in P2, almost 9/10 down, almost a second down there on Muddled Chemist. So he has got some traction to build up there. Terminated only 2/10 really. 1900ths, yeah, 2/10 off of Bradley Carter in P3. Dawes in P4. So we've got now our 11 Corvettes lining up on the grid here at Interlagos. Another 15 minutes of racing coming your way. Feel free to drop in the comments who you think this winner is going to be. I don't want to say it's been Muddled Chemist because he's done very well so far, but I think it will be his race to lose. We've got our 3, 2, 1, and the lights are done, and away we go. We're going to ride on board there with Fiona at the back of the grid, see how the drivers pile into turn 1. Are they going to keep it clean, or are they going to be out on the green? We'll have to see. We've got the Willie D running very wide in the red Corvette, but he's just about held on the track. You can see there as Fiona just about saves the spin. Good save there, young lady. Good job. But I don't think she's going to go into Mr. Tilly as he runs very wide. We'll catch up with her in a moment, but as it stands, Bradley Carter has taken P1 from Muddled Chemist and now leads him by almost a second into the Desilo de Lago. Muddled Chemist there in P2, Terminator in P3 with a 2-second penalty at some point there. Not very good for his race hopes. We've now got No Hassle up in P4, Richie again from the back up into P5. Good qualifying for him again. Willie D in 6th, Dawes in 7th and ditching a penalty. Going back up the inside of Willie D. Sliding past and up the inside. Is there space there? To the inside of this corner. Willie D though, very brave. Holds the drift around the outside, and that's very stylish defending there from the lad on the pad. Dawes will stay in P7th unless there's a dive bomb up into the Rica de Palo, but I don't think so. Overfire in P8, Cantona in 9th in his Strongbow liveried Corvette there. We've got Tiddywink in P10. Unfortunately, Fiona's not had the best of lap ones and finds herself in P11 for the time being. Bradley Carter still holding off Muddle Chemist by almost a second. He's got about the same time back towards Terminator. Still got a 1.2 second penalty looming over his head. He's also got No Hassle lurking in his rearview mirror. So we're going to ride on board then with No Hassle and see if he can make any gains as they head down onto lap 2 in the Senna S for the second time. Bradley Carter very wide, you see there. In fact, all three of these drivers are, but not much with Chemist. He's made a big gain on Bradley Carter. We're going to track him now instead as they head out of the Curva del Sol onto the Retta Acosta. And can he make a move into turn 4? He's going to get that slipstream from Brad, who dives to the inside to try and break the toe. Up into 5th gear, 150 miles an hour onto the brakes. And a bump there from Muddle Chemist, unfortunately, but very gentlemanly conduct there. Lifts off and allows Bradley Carter to resume first place. More importantly, it's not costing too much time to Terminator behind them. Still 1.3 seconds difference to 3rd place. You can see the Terminator still got that penalty over his head. He's also run very wide there out of Ferradura, almost onto the grass. You can see that as well. Willie D is now up into P4. He's gotten past No Hassle himself. Possibly a mistake down at the Descida de Lago, but now Willie D looking to make up some more places. We can see there he's got Terminator just in front of him. We'll ride on board inside the cockpit of Willie D. Actually, I don't think I've seen this car from the inside. That rev counter is really pretty cool. But now Willie D looking to make some moves on Terminator. A little bit sideways down the Magullo left-hander. Very tricky in any car really. When do you shift? When do you turn? When do you lift off and balance the throttle? Willie D's done a good job of holding that slide. You can see there a bit of twitchy steering as he tries to play the stick in the right direction. But now he's got the slipstream of Terminator. He's now 3/10 back. 2.5 tenths for sure as they head over the start-finish line. Is there a move to be made here from Willie D? He's going to look. He's going to stay behind Terminator. Maybe hope he runs a little wide. Both of them run quite wide. Willie D though throwing the car sideways to keep that drift and keep it going. Terminator though is, I think he might have been in the barrier at some point there. We'll quickly check with him as to what's happened there. So on board with Terminator, in very late on the brakes, and in fact, yeah, you can see he's gone onto the grass there, onto the runoff area. I think he's just lifting off there to make sure he doesn't take anybody out and safely rejoins with Willie D in P3. Excellent job of the Terminator. But he's now under threat from No Hassle, in fact, who I think may well have been heading out of the Descida Lago, and they're still sideways towards Ferradura. Is No Hassle going to give this place up? He will for the time being. I'll make sure I get a replay of that in a moment as well and see just how sideways they were. See how far back can we go. So Terminator there, very sketchy out of Descida de Lago, and that's allowed No Hassle up the outside, in fact, I think, or the inside, maybe some ghosting. But a very dicey driving from that pair. Terminator is still held off No Hassle through that middle sector. He now has to make sure he can make some gains on Willie D, but not running too wide here in case he clips the AstroTurf and spins out. He's done a good job there, balancing it through the Magullo. Out of Junasau and up the hill towards lap 4. We're now 1/3 of the way through the race. Bradley Carter still holding off Muddle Chemist, but not by the second. He has lost that time by half. Muddle Chemist is now well and truly in the slipstream of Bradley Carter. We'll ride on board there with Bradley Carter. From outside, I think will be better. Muddle Chemist draws incredibly close to him down the Senna S left-hander, and now the right-hander. He's less than 2/10 behind. 1.5 tenths now behind, getting a little bit sideways there. You see him late on the power. It's cost him a little bit of time. I don't think he's got a chance to make a move for the time being. He'll still be in the tow, still 2/10 back. Is there a move on? He's later on the brakes. He's gone for it. Oh, there's another more contact and door bang in there. But I think he's maybe the ghost of Senna has come back into his mind and warned him about the gaps that exist and the gaps that don't. Bradley Carter now, still trying to defend from Muddle Chemist. Only 2.5 tenths, make that 1/10 there. It's Bradley Carter, it's very sideways. Muddle Chemist goes wide though, makes a brave cut into the inside, but it's taken a lot of grass. That might well earn him a penalty. Bradley Carter back up the inside there. I think Muddle Chemist realising the mistake, and that is, as you see there, giving him a 1 second penalty. So again, good conduct there, good sportsmanship from Muddle Chemist, knowing that he's gained an advantage off the track and concedes the place. So this battle though is still inviting Willie D onto the podium, maybe even for a P2 or P1. Only 1.5 seconds away from this squabbling pair, but he more importantly is 1.7 seconds up now from ART Terminator. He's got a second in hand, down to No Hassle in P5. 2 seconds away now from THG Ritchie in the white Corvette. He's got 7 seconds, making almost 8 seconds now up on Dawes, who's got Carl Turner just behind him there in the black vet himself. There's Carl Turner there in the strongbow with the gold rims. He's 11 seconds up the road from Mr. Tidgewink, who's just beginning his ascent up towards the home straight. In 10th place we have Urban Fire going around Junsao now for his final sector, and Fiona making her way through the middle sector in P11. We'll get back to the front though. Muddle Chemist once again in the slipstream of Bradley Carter. No move to make there for the time being, but Bradley Carter's gone wide. Muddle Chemist up the inside. Are we going to see Verstappen and Hamilton? Not today. We're going to see how it should have been done. Muddle Chemist with a textbook overtake there on Bradley Carter, and he now takes the lead up into Ferradura and the middle sector. Have another look at that one again. So Muddle Chemist knows Bradley Carter. There's a little bit of luck up there. You see the puff of smoke from Bradley Carter. Muddle Chemist easy on the brakes, makes the inside line, a slight touch on the doors there, but nothing really to complain about, and up into P1. Fantastic driving. He's still got Bradley Carter menacing though from behind. Bradley Carter running very wide there, sliding, and now Willie D's can get involved, but he's got a 3-second penalty over his head, so he's going to have to find a good place to ditch that, and soon otherwise he'll have the Terminator on his heels as well. Muddle Chemist all kinds of out of shape there, heading down towards Junsao and onto the grass, in fact, using the Tibet runoff almost into a spin. Good save, but now Bradley Carter will be back up into his slipstream, and he earns a half-second penalty for his troubles. The last thing he needs now with Bradley Carter and his momentum back up the hill. But again, with Willie D closing down on the pair of them, we could find a three-way battle for the lead as we head into the second half of our race tonight here. Again, if you're enjoying what you see, please make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course join our Discord for more incredible racing just like this. We're going to hop on board with Willie D as he watches this pair battling in front of him. He's got front row seats, he's got the VIP ticket. The Muddle Chemist has the inside line. Bradley Carter, I don't think he's going to put it around the outside. That'd be very brave, all very stupid, and I don't think he's the stupid type. Muddle Chemist though going very wide. Bradley Carter looking for a cutback on the inside. Willie D with more momentum than the pair of them, bearing down on each of them. Meanwhile, THG Ritchie up into 4th place now, and we're overtaking Terminator. It's 4 seconds down on this battle. Bradley Carter running wide. Muddle Chemist on the inside again. Both of them side by side now into the turn 8 there. Both of them spitting tyre smoke as well, trying to get on the power as early as they can, a little bit sideways, and they're still duking it out as they head towards the Duck's Beak of turn 10. The Muddle Chemist will keep that one alive for the time being. Willie D again getting a little bit out of shape. He's got to manage that throttle a little bit more delicately if he wants to be in with a battle. We see them balancing it as they head down towards turn 12. Willie B in the slipstream of Bradley Carter, crucially. He's lost a little bit of time on the entry, but he's making it back on the way out. Being checked by Bradley Carter though. He's not quite close enough for a jump yet. I don't think we'll see from his point of view. 3 tenths back there on Muddle Chemist. I don't say this is close enough for a dive up the inside of turn 1. You can see he's not even going to bother trying to claim the slipstream back. Maybe open for a better line and more focus on his quarter entry, braking there very early this time. Willie D though, right up in his grill, trying to get a good braking from him, and now the 3 of them will make their way out the centre S's together towards the lager for lap 7. All 3 drivers here separated by less than a second. It's really some great racing. We're going to jump back a little further though, as we see Ritchie, No Hassle and Terminator trying to start their own battle possibly for P4. But again, Terminator with 3 seconds worth of penalties at one point there, not doing him any favours. No hassle, very late on the brakes, and now off onto the green. Will this invite Terminator back into the battle? Again, a 1 second penalty for exceeding the track limits is not what he needs. As well as we can see, Willie D is now past Bradley Carter for P2. Look at the inside as well. Muddle Chemist for P1. Not for the time being, but early on the throttle. Has he got a chance for a late dive bomb on the inside? I don't think so. And quickly jump back to see how he got that P2. We can see that Bradley Carter and Muddle Chemist fighting as they head through Ferradura. Willie D sideways with the drift overtake there on Bradley Carter. An excellent move. How are they doing now that he's still kept P2? Now all these cars separate by less than, well, was the half second between them actually, so it's still less than a second splitting this top three as we're on to the last 3 minutes of this race now. So I think we'll only get 2 more laps here at Interlagos. Is there a pass to be made by any of our drivers? We're going to check back with Willie D, sorry, with Bradley Carter. Is anyone going to dare a move into the centre S's for lap 8? You see there, Bradley Carter a little bit later on the brakes than Willie D, but Willie D going to ghost and serve some penalty. Again, a little bit sideways, a bit too heavy on the throttle. But now they snap back out of the centre S, out of the curve of the Sol, and now down the Retro Costa for lap 8. You see Bradley Carter well touching the slipstream out of Willie D. You have the slipstream of Muddle Chemist ahead of him, but is there a pass to make? Bradley Carter thinks better of it, hoping maybe Willie D will run a little bit wide. He doesn't know. Bradley Carter using the extremities of the rumble strip there to get himself a slingshot out of the seat of the lager, but it's still not happening through for the time being. Muddle Chemist is still our race leader, qualified on pole. A little bit of an altercation with Bradley Carter earlier in the race, and now he finds himself in 3rd place. Bradley Carter at the inside of Willie D. Is he going to get stopped for P2? He is indeed. And again, firmly on the brakes there, hugs the inside line. Now needs to really chase down Muddle Chemist for P1. So we get another look at that overtake there. Bradley Carter nice and tidy up the inside there, out of Ferradura. Willie D runs a little bit too wide. Bradley Carter takes that place. Thank you very much. They now head towards Junsao and back up the hill for what will be the last lap of the race. But Bradley Carter, I think crucially, has now lost the slipstream to Muddle Chemist and has now given up a huge amount of time to Willie D, who's now chasing around the outside, maybe ducking out the slipstream to tuck back in later and secure his place as they head down the main straight. Bradley Carter defending already to the far left of the track. Willie's getting a little bit more slipstream. Now he makes a move to the inside. Who is later on the brakes? I think it was Bradley Carter, but he's going to run quite wide. A little bit of spin. And he's a little bit of lock, I should say. And there is the spin from Bradley Carter. The last thing he wanted to do there. And is Richie now going to have a go at him? He's gained 4.5 seconds owing to that spin. Here comes Richie now out of the centre S, round the curve of the Sol, tight inside line, more momentum and a bit of slipstream to boot. Bradley Carter slides across the left-hand side there, but not a full defence. Richie actually bumping into him there, trying to get involved. Richie sliding left and right. We know he's been on the race field tonight, but I didn't think cars could stagger sideways. He's nevertheless made an excellent cutback on Bradley Carter. Takes P3, but Bradley Carter's got a little bit extra grip around the outside. They're going to drag race up to Ferradura. Bradley Carter will take P3. Has he run wide? That's exactly what Richie was looking for. He's sliding there, but Richie, much more composed, takes P3 back like candy from a baby. Bradley Carter now has lost 2 places in half a lap. He will be very disappointed with himself. And he'll have even more regrets if Terminator catches back up and takes that P4 away. You see Richie defending tight to the right hand side. Bradley Carter going for that wider line for momentum, but Richie cuts him off on the exit. And if this gets any closer, we could well see a drag race out of Junsao to the start finish. Bradley Carter getting all kinds of out of shape there on the rumble strip, but makes it into the last corner. And now Terminator, he now has the front row seats for the drag race to the line. We're going to see Muddle Chemist easily claim the race victory here, but who is going to get that final spot on the podium? Muddle Chemist takes P1, there goes Willie D for P2, and it is going to be a drag race to the line. Who has got the final spot? It's going to be Bradley Carter by the skin of his teeth. Richie in P4, Terminator in P3. Here comes No Hassle, P5, sorry, No Hassle for P6. 15 seconds down the road is Dawes making his way up the hill. He's got Cantona almost 2 seconds behind, so this should be a safe finish for him. And then here comes Dawes over the finish line. Another spin from him, I'm sure, almost a spin. Oh no, there it is, and there goes Cantone in P9. We've got Urban Fire making his way through the middle sector, and Tiddlywink just behind him, only 4 seconds away. So one mistake could cost Urban Fire his P9. We'll have to see. He heads now into the left-hander of Junsao and up the hill. Mr. Tiddlywink has gained some time, and he's really gained a second on him. Make that 2.5 seconds at the last corner, but Mr. Tiddlywink almost gets it spun around there. Good save there from Tiddlywink. And Urban Fire, I think, is trying to hold him, let off the gas, give them a drag race to the line. We're going to get on board then with Tiddlywink. Got to do it for the views. No, he's going to bump Urban Fire along. Here comes our drag race. Let's see who's going to be the first one over the line. Tiddlywink is just ahead, but he's going to lift back up, I think, for Urban Fire. Very gentlemanly driving. It looks good for the stream. Thank you very much, guys. But it's looking even better for Muddled Chemist, taking 2 wins out of 2. This Chemist certainly has the formula locked down. Can he make it 3 out of 3? Stay tuned. And as always, we get back into the party and see what our drivers thought of that one. Good evening, everybody.
Yes.
You're live once again on ART TV. Again, Muddled Chemist, fairly easy race for him, but he seems like the strong silent type. So we move down to Willie D. Are you there, Willie D?
No, he's in chat, mate.
He's in the chat. Well, you had to fight for that one, didn't you, Willie D? That was close to the very last laps, wasn't it?
It was close. I couldn't get used to the car. Simple as that, really. Until I decided to work out it's a long gear, isn't it?
It is. He's got very long legs on it, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was short shifting. I thought it was a short shift one, so I didn't realise until near the end of the race. And then I decided to turn the traction off, and then it just spun me, and then I lost it. Gained another penalty. And, yeah, so pardon, Muddle.
Well, you did do very well there to fend off Bradley Carter, who's just about lost out to P3. Are you there, Brad?
I'm here, Squid. Are you there?
Yeah, I am there indeed. Some bumper-to-bumper racing there, but you've just lost out. Are you out for blood for the next race against Willie D in particular, or are you just looking to make some more progress?
Well, Squid, to be honest, I had a fantastic race there, but have you ever seen a book called Where's Wally?
I have indeed, yes.
Well, there's a new book called Where's Ryan's Your Bad, you know, and I've yet to find him tonight, so that's why I went off track. I've been round to France and the Alps, and I couldn't find him there, and now I'm in Brazil, and there's this lovely pond, and he's not there either. So I'm hoping we can find him at some point tonight. Where's your favourite holiday destination, Squid?
My favourite holiday destination, it's funny you ask, I'm just figuring it out now. My favourite holiday destination is Italy.
That's a lovely
specifically
place, isn't it, Squid?
the Italian island of Sardinia.
Oh no, not Squidenia,
No,
go away.
I don't think Ryan's there.
We will be heading to Squidenia, as it has been famously named. And for this one, we will be driving the Alpine.
Oh no.
So, get yourselves ready then, guys. I'm going to head out of the chat. As soon as we're all on track, we're going to start our qualifying again. Let's go.
Squid, keep an eye out for Ryan. He might be there.
I will
If he
keep an
can,
eye out,
you know.
don't you worry.
Up on the windmill.
So it seems no love lost there for one of our missing participants this evening. If you are watching Ryan, whatever's gone wrong tonight, we hope is fixed soon. Or if you just couldn't be bothered, then you're a waste man, as Darren might call you. So we're now going to get into Sardinia B, the more twisted layout of the 3 Sardinia options available in Gran Turismo. And we'll be driving the Alpine A10, or the Premier Edition as it's called. 248 horsepower, just over a tonne, but being mid-engined, it is a little bit frisky in the corners, so we'll have to see how the drivers manage that one. So I think once Richie and Brad are done discussing the optimal race fuel, Brad, of course, being an expert as he is an off-road racer himself, I think we'll be underway in a moment. TC, come on mate, we're all friends here, get some naughty words in. It's Ryan at this track. I'll be honest, I can't see him, Brad. Unfortunately, I cannot see him on the track. But if he does join, I'll make sure we give him a wave. Of course, for any of our former members as well who might be interested in other wildlife or flying vehicles, if we spot any of those, we'll let them know. And of course, we've got some lovely wind turbines and windmills. So once our last few drivers hit the track, we should be underway in a moment. We'll be holding the right car, we've got the BOP on. I think everything is just about ready to go. So as we say, the Alpine mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, inspired of course by a legendary Alpine A10 from the 70s, I do believe, which is famously used at the Rally de Monte Carlo, and almost iconic for its the front headlights. We can see they're mimicked on the new car. It's not a massively popular choice, the Alpine, even though obviously it's built by Renault, which I suppose might be a negative if you are aware of the reliability of French cars generally. But it's meant to be incredibly good fun to drive. It's meant to be comfortable. It's meant to be, sophisticated. But it is unfortunately in the similar kind of bracket to the Porsche Boxster, to the Audi TT RS. And if you really wanted to push the boat out, maybe even the new Toyota Supra, or if you're looking for something completely different, you could even grab yourself a Ford Mustang for I think they're around about £45,000 they go for. Of course, if you're watching another country, you have to check their websites and do your own maths. But as far as I remember, it's about that kind of money. Of course, I suppose a lot of people look at that and think, why would I buy a Renault for £45,000? But it's not a Renault. Either way, we're going to get started with our qualifying session there as Dawes once again finding the crash barriers while I cut to him. He's really not had a good time of it, has he? Poor guy. Well, let's see how we do for our 7 minutes of qualifying here at Sardinia B. So we're currently on board, I believe, with Muddled Chemist. So we see him hit the track there, and he's very interesting Red Bull Alpine there. Very striking colour scheme. You definitely won't miss that one down the track. Here comes Dawes and Urban Fire in their iconic sky blue Alpines. The car they generally come in. Same there for Willie D. Rally Cars picked up a white one. Nice change there. Terminator has gone full Terminator and emoed his one up as much as he can. We've probably got guns there. We've probably got some Arnie on there. We've got some bullet holes on the side. Just as we expect from him. There's Dawes also in the blue one. Tiddlywink in a purple one. He's going for a very kind of violent themed drive today. Canto has gone for an Alpine racing livery there with his special 58 on the back there. No hassle. Goodness me, what is that? Is that a Wonka bar with James May on the front, or is it actually Richard Gere and Willy Wonka? I cannot tell. It is indeed Willy Wonka. He gets very sideways there. Almost a full spin. No, that is indeed a full spin. Wow, he's really thrown it through that corner. As we said they'd be tricky to handle being mid-engine, and Dawes also again showing us that. I need to see where it's going so wrong for everyone. So Dawes already with a spin, as is Willie D. out of the hairpin. I really struggle to understand where it's gone so wrong for everybody, that they just keep clipping the grass. No, you're just throwing it in, just chucking it left, right, really unbalancing the car. That's clearly not going to be doing him any favours. Of course, with mid-engine cars generally, you've just got to be that much more delicate with steering inputs, gradual, progressive steering. They're not just boats that can be thrown into corners and expect to grip, because with all that weight being on the rear, if you throw it around, it doesn't know where it's going, and eventually it'll just follow the front around, which is clearly what we've seen there from Dawes and Willie D and a couple of others. So this really could be a battle of who nails the middle sector better than anybody else. Terminator getting his slide on as well, out of the first long left-hander, but it keeps it in check. Bradley Carter made for a little bit of sneaky slipstream there behind the Danish driver there. Of course, if you've been watching our special events or we've been taking part in them, we had our Sardinia special on Tuesday, held by our very own ART Mike. And a couple of different events happening at Sardinia C, B and A, which proved to be very popular. And then also again with BD's Volkswagen set up on Wednesday. And of course, if you've seen any of the relay races in the past, you'll know that I'm very fond of Squidenia, as it's been affectionately named. I much prefer the A layout myself, but the B one presents its own challenges, of course. Speaking of presenting the challenge, we're going to ride on board there with Bradley Carter. He's almost nudged Terminator off the track. He's going to forget him and be on his way. Mudwell Terrace will set the first lap of the session with a 1:33.7. Yet to be seen if that's a good time or a bad time, but I think it's going to be faster than Bradley's time. We'll have to see. And it is by probably about 2 seconds. And there he is, 2.5 seconds down there on Mudwell Chemist. Terminator up in the 3rd place there. Cantona will take 4th, but will lose it for 5th as No Hassle jumps up into 3rd place. Here comes Mr. Tiddywit to set his first flying lap of the session. He's going to be 18 seconds off the pace, so he's got some time to find. As I'm sure will Urban Fire, 10 seconds to find, but still quite a way off of that top lap. Here comes Dawes there with a 1:53, I want to say. So he's not got any pace for the time being. Willie D though trying to mount his comeback into P7, but 11 seconds off the pace. And Richie currently on pause. I think maybe he's fueling again. Even on pause has found himself up into P8. So I suppose the consistency of the AI will get you around the track. It's better than spinning. Let's see if anyone else can nail a good lap. We'll run aboard them with Mudwell Chemist once more just to see how he finds things. Let's get a look as well at that iconic cockpit there of the Alpine. Of course, being a 2017 car, we've got digital driver's display. We've got a touch screen there on the right hand side. We've got what I presume is a double clutch automatic gearbox as well. And he's going to head over the line. He's going to best his previous time. He is by just over 1/10.5. So Reed now setting the pace with that 1:33.6. You can see it braking at about 75 metres down the gears in a straight line crucially, so as to not upset the car at the apex. And then staying nice and tight to that right hander and the long left hander there, taking him onto the B course. Terminator finds himself up in P3 there with a 1:36.5. But still, that's only good enough for 2.8 seconds off the pace. No Hassel also improves into P4. Cantona up into P5. Fantastic driving from Khan, who we don't often see at the higher positions on the grid or qualifying. But lovely to see him making his way up the grid. We've also got Tiddywink up into P5 now, improving, as has Urban Fire, who finds himself in P7. Sure, we're going to hope to see Willie D cross the line now with some improvements. Let's have a look. His current best is a 1:45. He's going to chop that down to a 1:40, still 1:45.5. So only 800 of a second up there. He's really got to make some gains. This will be his last opportunity as we hit that last minute of our qualifying session. Dawes is still down in P9. Richie has decided maybe not to finish this lap. He's going to maybe have a go at his practice start instead. We've already seen some electric starts here from him. So maybe he's got something in the tank he's going to be practicing in a minute. I think we'll cut away from him then. Hopefully he's not going to get stream sniped. So Mudwell Chemist crosses the line once more and betters his time yet again with some time in hand to make one more go of it. A 1:33.4. really is going for it. It's Bradley Carter also going for it there. All kinds of sideways through that last corner. I want to get another action replay of that. Let's have a look again. So right on board with Bradley Carter as he heads into that last left-hander there. Getting the car very sideways, but controls that slide beautifully. Heading down towards the start-finish line. He's not improved yet. The only person improved so far is Terminator, as our drivers now have more or less finished their qualifying session there. Khan and No Hassel do not improve. Tiddlywink is in the pits, as is Urban Fire. So we can see now as Willie D comes around the last corner, and he's getting very sideways. Even the clip of the barrier there, or we'll call it a drift tap if you want to. He's also got Dawes behind him as well. Dawes maybe going to cut across and steal some slipstream as they head down to the finish line. There's our checker flag on the left. Are there any improvements for these guys? Big improvement for Willie D. That is, wow, that's what, 10 seconds up on his previous best now. Puts him up into P3 and knocks No Hassel back to the third row of the grid. I think Muddle Case might well be the one at the top map there going for his last final lap. I did think I heard the little ting there of a fastest sector again. Very wide and slidey on the Alpine there. He's now going to cross the line. I don't think this is going to be an improvement, but a lovely drift we got to see there from Muddle Chemist. He will keep P1 for the time being, as I think everyone else has finished their final laps. Nope, we've got Bradley Carter. He's got one more crack at it. Again, another big drift there, but that's not going to get him anywhere, and he's going to end that drift in a spin and 1.5 twists, I think. Unfortunately, he's not going to get any points for gymnastics, so we have to leave him to cross the line and round out our qualifying session. I believe more or less all of our drivers now have set their times. We'll just wait a little 10 seconds while they're in the pits, and then we'll be on board with another 15 minutes here at Sardinia B. Again, feel free to drop in the comments who you think your winner is going to be tonight. If those of you who are just joining in for the first time, you've missed Muddle Chemist sweep 2 of 2 races and in a fairly convincing manner. So will he make it a hat-trick here in Italy? He's got 15 minutes and a lap to find out. So we're at Sardinia B in the Alpine A110. Drivers on the grid start now, ready to get going. We're going to get our 3, 2, 1 countdown and our 5 red lights. And the lights are out and away we go. A good start for all drivers, but none better so I don't think than Terminator with an excellent start there off the grid. He pulls into the lead for the time being. Will he be able to cut across Muddle Chemist before they get to the corner? I don't think so. I think Muddle Chemist will still have the inside into turn 1. Willie D wide there on the right hand side and almost going 3 wide into the corner. 3 wide behind them though, as Richie pushes up the inside from the back of the grid to P4. Terminator finds himself in the dust and at the back of the grid, I'm afraid, but an excellent start there from Richie. He's almost put into the dirt there. Let's have a look. From P9, in fact. An amazing start from him. Dive bombs 3, 4, 5 cars. A bit of a bump there from Tiddlywink. And a bit of a grieved chat there from Terminator. He feels Muddle Chemist has pushed him off into the dirt. And Richie now at the back of the grid, so maybe an accident that we've just missed. Terminator wants to get past him as quickly as possible. Richie in the pause menu. Not sure maybe he's typing or apologising. So sorry, so maybe he has caused an accident there, it seems, at the start of the race and lets himself to the back of the grid, but not quite the back, as Urban Fire there has had an incident. Yeah, Muddle Chemist though in P1 pulling away from Willie D's. He gets very out of shape there on the right hander. Here comes Willie in P2, No Hassel in 3rd. There's Dawes in 4th, but he's got Cantona on the inside. Is he going to let him through? He's going to chop the nose off. He's going to try and keep him honest on the outside. They are side by side through these triple left-handers. But who's going to come out on top? I think it's going to be Cantona inside. He's pushed Dawes around. Dawes is gone. Saves it with a very good spin. Well done, Dawes. But it has cost him 2 places. Unfortunately, we don't get points for style in these events, though. He's got some time to make up now. We're going to jump back with Cantona, though, as he chases down Bradley Carter. Half a second back there, but in the slipstream, as we see the sleek bodywork of the Alpine there, glistening in the sunlight, chasing down Bradley Carter into turn 1. still just about on the edge of that slipstream, but has he broken a little bit too late? No, maybe a little bit too early, in fact, there. Might see Dawes regain some time on him, and he does indeed. Was half a second back there. Dawes has rated an amazing turn 1. Now he's in with a chance of grabbing Cantona by the ankles and dragging him backwards. But he's got to correct another slide. That's 2 slides there. Dawes holding it on the road just about. So again, as mentioned earlier, these MR cars, you've really got to be gentle with the steering, because any kind of forceful input, the engine will just swing around. As Richie said, he's a little bit maybe over-fueled for this event, I think, and might have to call it a night. And ARP Terminator is not pleased with Muddle Chemist. He's bumped him off twice there. So maybe a couple of words to be said in the chat after the race. I'll make sure I have a discussion with the drivers in the party. In the meantime, it is Muddle Chemist in the lead. 1.1 seconds up there on Willie D. He's got a healthy 7.5 second distance there to No Hassle in P3, sliding there through this third left-hander, but a bit too much. Finds himself in the barrier. Here comes Bradley Carter on the outside. Is there space around the outside? Just about there. Very brave driving from Bradley Carter, but he's now found himself on the dirt. He may well be penalised for his troubles. With a very bold move on the outside there from Bradley Carter. He does indeed get that half-second penalty, but now being 1.3 seconds away from P4, he's got plenty of time to drop it when he needs to. Here's No Hassle, they're down to P4. Dawes just behind it in P5, has finally overtaken Cantona into P6. Here comes Mr. Tillich in P7. Terminator now has a recovery on his hands down in P8. And Fiona making her way through the final sector in P9. It seems that we have lost 2 drivers then. Let's check back quickly there to the battle at the front there. Here's Willie D. Will ride on board just behind him as he gets very sideways there. Just about holds it in a straight line. And then up the hill there towards the windmills and towards Muddle Chemist. Of course, it's really difficult racing with someone just on the horizon line. You want to chase them, you get so close to them, you might even get a bit tunnel vision. Next thing you know, you've missed an apex, you're in the dirt, your race is ruined. Willie D needs to make sure he avoids any kind of distraction now. He's drawing him in one more time now. He's got a couple of tenths in hand, losing on the entry, but a very consistent exit there. As Muddle Chemist finds himself on the grass, almost in the wall in fact. Willie D will be licking his lips now as he sees that Muddle Chemist is indeed human. A bit more mad scientist and nutty professor, I think, there than a sophisticated chemist. He's looking very muddled indeed as Weedy chases him down the straight. Now through turn 1, he's lost a couple of tenths there on the entry, and it looks like the same on the exit. Muddle Chemist really nailing turn 1, but I'm sure he's feeling the pressure now. He's going to make sure he keeps it clean for the rest of the races. Weedy tries to keep it clean, tries to keep it straight in line there, but and a huge save there from Willie D, and on the pad as well. No mean feat. These two that are 15 seconds away from Bradley Carter, who's now locked in the battle with No Hassle just behind him. We're going to watch from the rear view. Raceback gets it slowed down. You see as well there, just the bottom of your head, he's overlaying a little bit of throttle as he goes through the corner, just to keep the diff locked at the back and keep it in check. Make sure there's no crazy moments of understeer or snap oversteer. There's a little one there though, but still allows him to get a little bit of space away from No Hassle. Of course, with cars as slidey and prone to oversteers, they might be worth the drivers considering a little bit of slip angle, but not so much slip there as No Hassle was discovered out of the corner here. I'll have a quick look at the ball with him and see what's happened. Maybe he's been a little bit too aggressive on the inside there of the corner. It looks like he's just got a little bit too wide on the throttle there. Slams into the barrier. Another perfect pirouette. But now finds himself 7.5 seconds back there from Bradley Carter. And now he's got Cantona bearing down on him, who finds himself in the gravel, unfortunately. It's going to cost him some time now back up the track. We're going to check back to the front. There's, I think, or is that his mate's Monaco is about to lap something? I think it is indeed. He has just lapped Fiona. What's about going on there? Got to be excited. Muddle Chemist there. 11.8 seconds in the lead as we get to about halfway in this race at Sardinia B. Willie B 70 seconds back and further now as he finds himself in the gravel. Where's Bradley Carter? There he is, chasing him down now. Will Bradley Carter to make moves? As Willie D spins again, dirty tyres, the last thing he wanted. Let's get a look there at Willie D. You can see that he's already spinning out of turn 1. Here comes Bradley Carter through turn 1. Again, a little bit of overlaying on the throttle, much more composed. And the recovering Willie D just cannot compete. He's got the dirty tyres, too hard on the throttle, and again in the barrier and the grass. Willie D will be hitting himself in that one. He's still sliding and countering again, and sliding, counter-steering again. Really have the battle as Alpine, as another slide and spin there from Willie D. It's by no means an easy car to drive this. But it looks like Bradley Carter is pulling away by leaps and bounds, but not as much as Model Chemist. 20-second lead on him there. Can anybody stop him tonight? Well, we've got a battle going on here though, as No Hassle and Carl Toner trying to catch up to Willie D, who has gone off again, as I think Fiona's now left the race there. So we're only down to 8 drivers. Willie D gets flanked by Khan and No Hassle. Khan actually taking up both of those places. Willie D sideways again. No Hassle trying to keep him in a straight line, but it's just not worked, unfortunately, for Willie D. He's having an absolute nightmare, poor guy. No Hassle again, trying to keep it in a straight line. Not the easiest of cars to drive, as we say. But Cantona finding a good balance now. Maybe the traction control is just a little bit of extra help he needs. And this could well be a fantastic podium for one of the drivers who, in my opinion, really deserves one. With the amount of time he's been with ART, he ought to be finding himself on the podium at some point soon. Let's hope he does. He's got 6.5 minutes to hold off No Hassle and Willie D. I should say, as No Hassle has disappeared. He's driving backwards, it seems. He's had an incident with the pit wall, and I think he just wants to let him know that he's there. As a Terminator goes straight through him. Not sure that's No Hassle there. Terminator also has gone for a spin. Doors, meanwhile, is trying to close down on Tiddlywink. Let's see, there's no look up the inside for the time being. Will they keep it the straight line on the exit? They do. Tiddlywink has left a slight gap there, but closes it back on Doors. As they head now through the sweeping left-hander onto the B layout. Doors is closing in there on Tiddlywink and on Willie D. Late move up the inside. Tiddlywink leaves the space. Willie D has gone round again. Is there contact? Unfortunately, Tiddlywink's been swallowed up by the clash there with Willie D. And that's put him down into P6 and away from Doors. Tiddlywink going around the outside of Willie D. A bit of snap oversteer. He just about keeps it straight. Willie D and Doors in the dirt. And now Tiddlywink up into P4. Fantastic stuff from Tiddlywink, but still 22 seconds back from Cantona. As both those cars getting very sideways there through the long left. Willie D sideways again. Has he kept it out of the grass? He has, in a straight line. He's really having a hard time with this car, isn't he? Let's check back as a Terminator No Hassle are having a tug of war, I think, or a pushing fight on the straight as Cantona puts a lap down on them. We've only got just 5 minutes left now here at Sardinia B. This could well be the battle we've been waiting for all evening, but it seems to be a stalemate at the moment, so we'll check on our other drivers. Muddle Chemist, a stonking 24-second lead up there on Bradley Carter, in tow with a 20-second lead on Cantona, another 20-second lead down to Mr. Tiddlywink. And here's where the gaps start narrowing. 3 seconds to Willie D, 3.5 seconds down to Doors there, who I think is what our last a real competitor, given that Terminator and No Hassle are duking it out on the start line. 4 minutes to go here at Sardinia. And so Willie has gone off again, allowing Doors up the inside. Willie really struggling to get that car pointing in a straight line. Of course, with the really tiny, minute inputs you need to use on the analog stick, on the pad, Willie D, I'm sure, is finding it incredibly hard to point it where he wants to point it. And you can see even his inputs there, the red dot underneath, just bouncing left and right. No smoothness of inputs there, but he's just about wrestling the car to keep it in a straight line. Looks like maybe a little mistake from Doors though. He's only 1.9 seconds away, so there could still be a change of positions in the near future. As it stands though, I do think Tiddlywink might just keep P4, and our top 3 drivers I doubt are going to change in the near future. So we're going to check right there with Willie D. He's made another error now. He's now 4 seconds away from Dawes. Make that more seconds. And he has another spin coming out of the uphill right-hander. A quick J-turn there for Willie D, and he's back on his way. Meanwhile, Dawes making his way through the last left-hander on the track. Again, I think we're finding here the drivers using traction control are having a slightly better time of things. But none having a better time. Muddled Chemist found his way onto the grass, but I don't think it's going to affect his race too much. He's got 26 seconds in hand there to Bradley Carter. I'm sure he can afford a fun slide on the way out as he overtakes Terminator on the grass, who I think says has a dead microphone. And may have left the party chat there. So, with what should be one of our final 2 laps here, we have Muddled Chemist convincingly in P1, as is Bradley Carter in P2 and Cartona in P3. Tiddywink extending his lead to 5 seconds there over ART Dawes, who's now managed to keep a 37-second gap there to Willie D. No Hassle says he's found Ryan. That might be him over there in the stands, I think, with the blue shirt and the dark trousers, or maybe that's him kneeling down, looking for his PlayStation controller, because he's not done very well today. Terminator, I think, is going backwards, trying to spice up his race as Willie D is going sideways and now backwards. Dawes in the pause, so I think that's a good rhyme. Dawes in the pause. I think, I'll be honest, I think most of our drivers have given up on this one. Yeah, so Ryan is in the crowd. One of our former colleagues, RMA, is apparently strapped to a windmill. But I think, like the windmills, that joke's been going round and round for a very long time. Tiddywink, meanwhile, racing his absolute heart out, bless him, in that purple Alpine, as that Terminator looks to take him out in the reverse direction. And Cantona, I think, will finally secure that podium. He's only got 1 lap left to go. No, that's asking if we're done yet. Well, I think we're almost done, Alex. We're almost at the end of the race there. We're going to ride on board, though, with Muddled Chemist. He's got 1 more lap to go, I think, but Bradley Carter, I think he will just about make the final one, unless he wants to stop. He's slamming the brakes there for the last corner, but I think he's looking to go for 1 more lap, it seems. He is flat out down the straight. And no, it's like he's putting the brakes on. No, he's trying, maybe giving No Hassle some hope there for an early finish. But I think our first finisher here will be this man, Cantona, who I personally am absolutely ecstatic for, to see him on the podium. And we'll ride on board with the man as he heads through the final corner, taking his time, nice and gingerly. And he will be the first one to receive the checkered flag. But almost a minute down there to Muddled Chemist, who's really gone at it the whole evening. A dominant display of racing so far, with 2 events still left. But we will have a quick chat with him. He almost takes out one of our cameramen about some of the driving. I think one of our contenders isn't particularly happy, so we'll try and clear that up in the chat before we get going with our next event. In the meantime, though, here comes Muddled Chemist over the finish line. A couple of celebratory slaloms past No Hassle, and he will take the checkered flag for race 3 of tonight's Roulette special. Bradley Carter, a great effort from him as well, and he's just trying to get past some of the lap traffic there of Terminator, then giving him a race to the line. He's gone almost off the track there. Terminator has kept him on. Dawes saying, "My chicken dinner's cooking, can we hurry up?" Hopefully once Bradley makes his way around and stops leaving his tyre tread on the road, I'm sure we'll be on with the next race in a moment. Bradley and Terminator are going to race to the line. It's going to be a drag race to the finish, but I think Bradley Carter is just ahead. You can see another blue Alpine in the background there. I think that must be Willie D. So Bradley Carter, I think he's probably waiting for him, in fact. Is Willie going to pip him to the line? I think he is. He's all the way onto the grass. I mean, that's an absolute nightmare finish there. He's already been lapped, so this one will not be for position. But I think now they're just prolonging the pain for everybody in this stream and everybody in the lobby. So not the finish we were expecting tonight, but hopefully they'll cross the line soon, and we'll get on with the next one. Goodness me. So before we get up and running, we'll have a quick chat with our drivers once again. And let's have an interview with one or two more of our contenders.
I like Northern Isle, although I preferred this race. I did prefer this race.
Good evening, guys. Back on ART TV. And the first message is to keep it clean, not just with the language, but also on the track, please. I can see we had a couple of incidents there. One or two people aren't happy with it. So if you do happen to bump someone off the track, you know, hopefully not deliberately, but even by accident, please can we have an agreement to let them have that place back to make sure we have some fun racing tonight, please. That's for everybody, no one in particular. We'll have a message with Willie D first. Willie D.
Yep.
You seem to have an interesting time there in your Alpine.
Just fancy the spin.
Oh,
Never tried the car before, so just fancy spinning the car about. Couldn't handle it.
Fair enough. Would you
It's
recommend?
too much for me. Oh, not that car. Personally, it's a bit too powerful for me.
Not that car. Fair enough. Anybody else having a good time in the Alpine, or was that one that we're gonna forget
Loved
about?
it, mate. Loved it. Absolutely best race of the night. We'll have to do a series on that.
Hassel, I hear that the pit lane's good here as well, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's got a good cushion. When I hit it, the only problem is I reset, and that really annoyed me.
Perfect. Squid,
Yeah.
we think we've got some more good news for you, mate.
Yes.
We didn't find Ryan, but we found RMA. Apparently, he was in the windmill.
Ah, yes. I heard that Arme was in the windmill, but
So,
I think we'd best leave him up there. He seems to have a good view of the track.
When do we go to Northern Isle?
No one can touch
Yeah.
him. When we go to Northern
We
Isle,
want Northern Isle.
You will want
it's
Northern
funny
Isle.
you ask. I've actually just rolled Northern Isle on the roulette wheel. So we will be at Northern Isle next, and we'll be racing in the Vipers.
Squid,
Hey!
do you think Ryan will be at Northern Isle?
So nothing quite says Murica than some Vipers round a speedway. So I'll put the lobby up for you now, and I'll see you at the end of this race.
Is he there though?
So it seems that we're keen to get some Murica in our event for tonight. So we better change our track to the Northern Isle Speedway. Let's do it under the lights. Why not? And our Viper, if I remember rightly, is N600. And it is indeed N600. So hopefully everyone on track quickly. And I think just to make this interesting, we're going to take the qualifier off, because really in Northern Isle, there's nowhere to go. There's no need to qualify. So I think we'll do grid starts for these last two, just to get the racing going a little bit quicker, and to get some interesting driving done. Of course, Northern Isle, I think the shortest track in all Gran Turismo Sport. I'm sure we'll see many laps around here. I'm sure we could be seeing, let's say, 15 minutes. Wow, maybe 45 laps around here. Could be something crazy like that. Again, Ryan, if you're watching, you've got plenty of support in the game chat. We wish you were here, and we hope to see you soon. Doors off that I sing the national anthem. I'm not much of a singer, but if you would like an anthem of sorts, I highly recommend the F1 theme tune. Epic in every possible way, especially when played on a dreadful recorder through a potato audio device. So we're just going to wait for our final few competitors to get on track. So we all got the right car again. And as soon as we hit the road, we will be ready to go. Just waiting on THG, Richie. I'm sure he's stocking up on race fuel once again. He's got a very thirsty motor, it seems, this evening. And I think just to spice this one up, let's get dirty for this race. Contact allowed for this race only. Of course, here at ART, we pride ourselves on clean racing and sportsmanlike conduct. But you know, every once in a while you've got to let your hair down, you've got to have a good time, and in certain situations there is nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. So if Richie makes his way to the track, I'll quickly check if he's racing. A little flash of the typing from him, so we'll get an answer soon. Boost. I don't think we can run boost around here. That's going to get very, very hectic. And of course, if I get to turn it off, the last race is going to be completely sabotaged. So as soon as Richard gives us the all clear, I'll start the race. Great time for me, topping up more race fuel. Okay, so in that case, we're going to get going. I think what we'll do is see if we can start on board with Muddled Chemist. As you may have noticed there, we've just quickly popped grid just to spice it up for the last couple of races. We have no qualifier, we're going to go straight in. So come on, it's a Dodge Viper, you put your foot down, you turn left. Can't be that hard, right? Oh, I'm sure we'll find a way to prove that wrong. We've got 9 Dodge Vipers there, we've got 900 cylinders on the grid, which is fantastic to think about. And we're going to run on board there with Muddled Chemist. It's a very good start there, already breaking away from Calm Toner. Up into P8, make that P7 on the inside of Tiddlywink, and now try and get his way towards Bradley Carter and Urban Fire, a pair of red Vipers there. So let's follow the more cinematic angles now. Of course, only 2 corners to go. I think we might as well just have a look at everybody in general. See sparks flying along the barrier there. Everybody's getting involved. Let's check with No Hassle is in the lead of this race here, done very well for himself there. And the Muddled Chemist at the inside there of, I don't think that was George, I don't think it was. But 4 wide, just at the back of the track there. If we can get another look at these ones, we can see it's a Wheaties broken away from 3rd, and a lot of ramming and sliding there. Dawes taking the high line, trying to get around Bradley Carter, and tuck back in under the Muddled Chemist, which he does. Finds up into P5. Muddled Chemist is not going to give that up without a fight, nor is Bradley Carter up the inside of Muddled Chemist as well, and up the inside of ART Dawes, taking 5th place from him in turn. Now there's a space over up the inside for Muddled Chemist to take P7. So crazy fight going in the midfield here, and we are going to see a lot of laps, I can tell. I think if anything, I might just leave the track map timer thing on and you can figure it out for yourselves. There's going to be a lot of battling and a lot of contact, I think. I must say though, if you look there at Bradley Carter's Viper, that pearlescent red paint, it does look fantastic, I must say. I don't think it looks quite as impressed by my Skoda Fabia, but it'd be much nicer than what I've got at the moment, I'll say that for free. Willie D at the inside of Terminator, I've just caught that though. I must say, you've got a Terminator, great job on your liveries tonight, man. I'm not so sure about the anime girl on the side of your Viper there, but other than that, it's a very cracking piece of kit livery there. No hassle though, finding it a lot easier. We notice he's just got to turn in one direction, he's turning left for his life, and he's doing very well so far. Just the question marks on his Viper. Not sure what those question marks mean. Why am I doing so well? Where is everybody? What track are we doing next? But he's certainly asking questions of Willie D down in P2, 1.86 seconds. And closing, but he's got some time on him still. And she's got 3 at battle now for 3rd place with Dawes, Brad and Terminator squabbling over P3. Just further down the track, there's Muddle Chemist up from the back in P6, Urban Fight in 7th, Khan in 8th, and Mr. Tiddywink once again in that striking purple Viper. Might even go far as say plum crazy if we're talking General Motors colours. In P9. So we've still got this man here, No Hassle, extending his lead over the rest of the drivers. We'll look back to, I think, from ART Doors, as he's got Bradley Carter behind him, and behind those actually going too wide there, around the whole corner. Muddle Chemist up to P5, just cuts the nose off the Terminator there to take 5th place. Brave driving from him. As Bradley Carter spares the ring, that's Russell to get around lap 11, around the outside of Doors in fact. Great move there from Brad to take P3 away from the yellow Viper. Amount of change to No Hassle. He really is streaking away. He's almost about to lap Mr. Tiddywink, I believe, the purple car. There he is. So we're about to hit lap 14 here at Northern Ireland Speedway. No Hassle leads by 1.6 seconds. We're in 2nd, 2.4 seconds down there to Bradley Carter. He's only just a smidgen away from ART Doors. He's now got Muddled Chemist breathing down his neck. We've got the Terminator out for revenge after the contact in the last race. So I'm sure we'll see Terminator bide his time and make a sensible move rather than an aggressive one. Cantona in P7, not quite where he was compared to the last race. An eventful P3 for him, but not the same success at the moment. Urban Fire in P8, a 2.5 down to Cantona, but 4.5 up on Mr. Tiddywink. In 9th place, who is going to be lapped in the near future by No Hassle. Going to borrow a little bit of slipstream from him as well, I think, just to try and pull away that bit extra from Willie D. Let's have a look there, 10.5 minutes to go. So I reckon we'll be seeing just shy of 50 laps from these guys here. No Hassle does lap Mr. Tiddywink there, and Willie D trying to get up to him now, but 2.3 seconds off the pace is not enough for time being. He's losing time, hand over fist, No Hassle. And he's not really pulling away too much now from Bradley Carter. Yeah, 140 miles an hour down the straight there. They really are pushing it here in the Vipers. Muddle Chemist going for a tighter inside line, but it is still allowing to that Terminator up the rear of him there in P5. He's also got Doors in his rearview mirror, and of course, under lights hit the speedway. Any kind of light flashing might be just enough to throw you off. And again, you've only got to turn left, but if you can't get it done right, it's going to cost you some time and some places. Doors there is really trying to catch up to Terminator. We're right on board with ART Doors. The Viper in the dash there glowing red as he mashes the rev line of that enormous 8-litre V10 engine. Of course, as we mentioned last night in the what was the event we did last night? Totally lost my brain. Oh my god, I completely forgotten. I'll remember it later, I'm sure. On the Sonic Chronicles Premium. What was the race we did last night? It was trying to push in Thursday, yes. Also around the speedway. V10 developed by Lamborghini, but not the same screaming machine we normally hear in their Gallardos and Audi R8s and that like. It's a much more guttural shout than a primal scream. No Hassle. Only got 1.6 seconds now to Willie D, so he's starting to lose some focus. I think he needs to get back into a rhythm and find some more time, because Willie D is starting to reading him in slowly but surely. And more importantly, he's extending his gap to Bradley Carter 3.7 seconds and further. Now he's got Muddled Chemist right up behind him, flashing the lights, trying to maybe get in his rearview mirror, get in his head. Or maybe just trying to signal to Tiddywink to try and stay out the way of their race. But Tiddywink is really sandwiched himself between those two cars. And perhaps a little bit of ART bias there, trying to discourage Muddled Chemist from getting past. Mr. Tiddywink is the purple cork in the bottle there of Muddled Chemist's flask. And Toby really spilling time now backwards to the Terminator, unless he can get past Tiddlywink in a moment, which he tries to do now, but again slamming into the barrier with real force there, not helping his case at all. Terminator just behind him there, 1.3 seconds. And a couple of good corners should see him on the tail of the chemist. Doors there in P6, Urban Fire in 7th. Can't turn him in P8, being lapped by No Hassle and Willie D. And now the fight is on there. We're going to ride on board with Willie D as he chases down No Hassle. He's less than half a second away now from the questionable Viper, we'll say there. Tyres squealing for all they're worth. Just as well, we've got no tyre wear on. You see there more flashing lights as Willie D presses down hard there. You can see the camera compressing there as he goes through the banking at those immense speeds, and the G-forces as well pushed down through his helmet, through his neck. But now he's starting to lose time to No Hassle rather than catch up. Maybe No Hassle's just caught in traffic and is starting to find his rhythm again. This is not doing him any favours. He's now lost the slipstream as well, so he really needs to pick up the pace if he wants a chance at snagging the win from No Hassle. Of course, as mentioned earlier, No Hassle with his bountiful experience in encounters with concrete walls. Maybe a little bit of grinding there to his advantage. Willie D is now 1.5 seconds off, but still gaining time on Bradley Carter, 4.5 seconds away from him. Michael Chemist there in the background in P4, 1.6 seconds to Bradley Carter, and about the same back to Terminator, who himself is trying to get past Tiddlywink in P8. We've got Doors in P7. He's managed to lap Cantoni, now finds himself at the back of the grid. And Urban 5 behind Doors there, 2.5 seconds, just coming on to turn 1 now. Tiddlywink is in P8, starting lap 32, and Cantoni is just 3 seconds behind, starting lap 32 as well. No Hassle is about to get around the outside of Urban 5, lap him out of P7. But Willie D knows he's got the track to deal with, and he's trying to reel him in once again. We're going to jump back on board with Willie D as he tries to pursue No Hassle. 3 red Vipers there around the bank of turn 2. Just a little clip of the word from Willie D. Might be worth him trying a little bit less steering into it, a little bit less power through the corners, just to secure those exits, because that's his traction zone, that's the power zone. He needs to make sure he can gain on No Hassle, but of course No Hassle with that slipstream just in front there from Urban 5. They use that to try and pull away as best he can. I apologise, many yawns to get out of me today. We are now 5 minutes remaining here at Northern Ireland Speedway. Cantoni's gone for a spin on the inside. Is that going to sabotage Willie D's race? No, a slight bump on the outside that keeps it in a straight line, and now he's going to try and get around Urban Fire and into the slipstream and the coattails there of No Hassle. Plant the throttle early from that corner, was pushed onto the wall there by Urban Fire, and that's crucially cost him the slipstream. I'm sure there'll be some no uncertain words spoken between those two after this race. So once more, leaves No Hassle in the lead by 9 tenths of a second. Willie D is in P2, 6 seconds gap there to Bradley Carter in P3. Only 7 tenths back now to Muddled Chemist, who really is wheeling him in, starting from the back of the pack up into P4. Done a fantastic job. Only a tenth of a second off the fast lap as well there from Muddled Chemist, and now well and truly within the slipstream of Bradley Carter. We'll watch the Muddled Chemist there chasing through turn 2 onto the start finish line. Again, only a tenth off that fastest lap. He really is trying to make some gains here. Only 2 tenths now, maybe 1.5 tenths to head round to turn 2 for lap 41 in a moment. Bradley Carter taking the wider line, trying to get momentum, but that allows Muddled Chemist to even close now on the inside. You see these two different approaches there. Bradley Carter going for a little bit more momentum on the entry. Muddled Chemist looking for the power on the way out, and now he's right up under that Viper. But is he going to be bitten if he tries to get too much? He will indeed. Takes a bite out of the wall instead there. He will be spitting venom in that Viper. A costly mistake it could be, but he's still fortunately just about in the slipstream. Meanwhile, we have had a change of the lead and a change back again as No Hassle and Willie D are now side by side with Mr. Tiddywink just ahead there, heading into turn 2 and now towards lap 44. They are door banging. They have to split their way past Tiddywink possibly as they head around there to lap 44. Tiddywink in the middle there, not where you want to be if you're a lapped car. But No Hassle just about managing to eke away there. Willie D going around the outside. Can he keep the momentum on the top higher line there? Just not there. No Hassle shuts the door in as he makes his way out of the corner. We'll ride the ball then with Willie D from behind so we can see No Hassle just keeping in mind Willie D to the inside. No move there. Moving to the outside, trying to keep the momentum. Maybe a cutback on as he leaves the corner. But again, No Hassle parks his Viper in front of Willie D. Of course, I think they're just trying to see who's going to make the cutback first, who's going to make the advantage. As we see now, Muddle Chemist is ahead now of Bradley Carter. By 2 tenths, he's just made that overtake and needs to see if he can reel in that front pair. But he's not got much time to do it. Only 2.5 minutes remaining in the race. No Hassle has now conceded that place again to Willie D. It really is a ding-dong battle between these two drivers. No Hassle going for that tighter line, costing him speed but shortening the track. Willie D meanwhile going for that middle line there, with a bit more speed but a longer distance to go around the corner. No Hassle trying to get Tiddywink out of his way, but he's almost off the slipstream there to Willie D. He's really got to be careful now. Willie D again using that high line, trying to keep as much momentum as he can. There's now only a minute and a half to go in this race here, the 4th roulette race of November here at Northern Isle Speedway. We've got Willie D up in P1, No Hassle in 2nd place, Muddle Chemist in P3, now cleared Bradley Carter by a second and a half almost. He's well clear though of Dawes, who's our first of our lap drivers, 5 seconds up on Urban Fire, who's only half second away from Terminator in P7 there, flashing lights trying to get in his head. Willie D is 9 seconds down the road in P8 and Carl Turner is in P9. We've got 1 minute to go, so we're going to stay on board there with this amazing dynamic duo of Willie D and No Hassle. We'll stay on board with the driver in 2nd place, the driver behind, as he's doing everything he can to stick with Willie D there. Fly for the bank, and there's some amazing cinematic cameras from Gran Turismo. Thank you, Taz, for some amazing camera work here. With 40 seconds to go, I think we've got time for only 3 more laps here, on lap 53, would you believe, at Northern Isle Speedway. And again, I'm absolutely speechless. This game does look amazing. You don't even have to have it on the PS5 as I do, but just to see it is incredible. And I do hope we get the same for Gran Turismo 7. If you're excited for Gran Turismo 7, put a comment down there below. Tell me if you pre-ordered it, have you got the deluxe edition, the standard edition. Are you pumped? Are you disappointed it's a shared release? I'm not disappointed by this racing though. We've got 10 seconds to go. Will there be time for one more lap? There will be indeed. We're going to get on board with No Hassle. He's got to make a lunge now or never. This is the final chance, the final straight, the final corner. Can he take the inside line on Willie D? He's going for it. There's a bit of a bump and NASCAR move there, bump and run. But Willie D will take the checkered flag by 2 tenths of a second from No Hassle. 15 minutes of racing condensed into 2 tenths. Muddle Chemist from the back of the grid as well takes P3, a tremendous drive from him. Mike there cheering on No Hassle, but unfortunately he had to settle for P2. But what an amazing event we saw there. So we're going to get into the race results here, and again 1 second last interview with our drivers before we get going. I'm sure they've all got something to talk about there.
You there, Ryan?
SuperSquid.
Evening everybody, ART TV once again. Goodness me, I could not catch my breath for a second. No Hassle. I thought you had it sewn up.
Yeah, I did. I was really working at it between lap 12 and 14. Lap 15, I changed the brake bias a bit. 15, I looked at some different lines. 20, I had a word with the dog who said to go wider and take a tighter line in. 25, my head really wasn't with it, and my arms were just done by lap 43. Well done to Willie D.
You've clearly been in the wars there, but 15 minutes of racing there. We had, what was that, 55 laps, was it near the end?
55, yeah.
54, 55 laps, all condensed into 0.2 of a second. A tremendous battle.
It was, joking aside, it was hilarious, it was good.
It was really good fun to watch, really impressed. And Willie D, any final notes on that race? A good win for you, or do you feel fairly lucky?
I lost count of what I was doing. Like No Hassle was saying, it was the laps. Lap 5, a bit messy. Took me ages to get used to the car again. By lap 10, got used to it a bit more. At 15, so thereabouts, I started to get past the pack, and gradually got in the pack with No Hassle, and from then on it was just a good battle from there. I was just hopeful that no one was going to crash me out.
Okay.
Crash everyone else out after that. But yeah, good clean race.
Well, speaking of crashing out, I've been reminded by one Mike in our comments to have a chat with Angry Kid. So I believe that falls to Mr. Tiddlywink. You there, Mr. Tiddlywink? You've got to behave. Well, I'm glad that that's already out of the way for me to deal with. That's great. But how have you found these last few events? Have you found them interesting? Are you going to come back for the next ones, or are you one and done? Alright. Well, that's what we want to hear. Well, the last one, hopefully, you're going to be more keen on in the Red Bull Juniors.
Urban's off as well, Squid.
Yeah. Urban's off as well? Is he's going, or he's...
Yeah, he's going.
Yeah, I've got to drop off, mate. Thanks for tonight. It's been great, mate. Great
Thanks
fun.
for joining, Urban. Glad to have you on, and you're doing a great job as a moderator as well, so do what you're doing, and we'll talk to you soon.
Nice one. Thanks, bud.
See you later, Urban.
I'm going to back out of the party as well. I'm going to get my wheel fired up, because I'm going to join you for this one as well.
And Mike. Right,
and I'm going to spin the wheel and let you know where we're going. So I'm going to back out the party chat. I'll make sure your Rebels are set to 122 power. And I'll see you on the track in a moment. Good luck, everybody. So, if we spin the wheel... Oh, that's an advert for a food restaurant. Not one that's for right now. So, spin the wheel. Oh, no, don't start the race. Just a second. So, our Group X cars here. We'll be using the Red Bull Juniors. And it looks like... Oh, now it's just as well. Mike has joined. This will be one of his favourite tracks here, I believe. We're heading to Japan. And we are heading to, if I can find it here, Autopolis Short. This should be a very interesting race here. So, I'm going to quickly unplug the keyboard, get my wheel on, and hopefully have a good race for these guys on the track, although I believe I might be starting at the front. So I'm sure there's going to be some cries of bias. So let's make sure this is all set to go. I think we're all plugged in and ready. Driving options, make sure we've got the suit, the hards on. Let's chuck the brake bias forward a little bit. Make sure everyone's on the right power as well before we start. And we'll be underway in just a moment. Just to make sure, I hope that I don't swear and get a little bit agitated. I do like the Red Bull Juniors, but I'm not a fan of Autopolis. It's a really, really pesky track in my opinion. I much prefer Fuji, Suzuka. Japan's got an absolute wealth of amazing racetracks as well, like Twin Ring Motegi. Oh, the list goes on, but Autopolis, I'm not a fan. If you like Autopolis, or if you don't like Autopolis, stick a comment in the video. What do you think of Autopolis? What's your favourite Japanese track? What's your favourite racetrack? I think if I had to pick a favourite track of all time, I think it's got to be Laguna Seca. Fallen in love with it since Gran Turismo 3, and what I would give to get out to Laguna Seca and drive Oh, I'd be, be the happiest little boy in the world. But for the time being, we have to make do with some Red Bull Juniors here at Autopolis. So let's check we're all on the right power. Here we are. And, we'll quickly ask Richie if he's racing. I assume he's still refueling with some Russian race fuel, so that transparent Russian flammable liquid. If not, we're going to get underway. I do like the Red Bull Juniors. Very fun car to drive. Very go-karty. Very oversteery though, especially on the hard tyres. But of course, if you put everything on the super soft, then we'll just stick to the road. It gets a bit boring. And I think we saw that evidently in the Alpine race earlier tonight at Sardinia. But I think this one might be a little bit more controllable as long as I don't get put into the grass at turn 1. And maybe some choice words there otherwise. Quickly have a look and see how some people are doing. Muddle's going to play his nice. He's got a good balance of throttle there. Doors, he's probably going to be doing doors things. Hope he doesn't spin like up to him again. He's done that twice, I think, so far tonight. He's clipped the grass, but no, I think he's just about got it. He should be alright then. Can I cut away now? Yeah, I think I can. There's Daddy Mike, the king of Autopolis. In a previous roulette race where I think in the Ford F-150 pickup trucks took a very convincing win, but this is a very different wheel kit. Being shielded by Terminator, his red Bull. That's enough. Bradley Carter's gone for the gold one as the roulette champion, which is always nice to see him flying the flag of a previous series. You've got Carl Toner there in his wonderful then red and black green pearlescent Red Bull. That's very cool. Willie D in the Red Bull that we used for our Sardinia special recently, which I'll be using as well. Mr. Tilly in a green one. It's a Lightning McQueen, maybe with a couple of performance additives there as well. And No Hassle is there in his adult magazine, adult clothing edition of car there. I'll cut away from that one before our channel gets demonetised permanently. We've had no reply from Richie, he's not typing, so I think we're just going to get going. Let's see if it's, I think it's got 1 minute 6 there from Muddled Chemist, so I'd assume we're in for about 13 or 14 laps. But I've done bad maths before, so we'll have to see. If there are any comments going up, I'm not going to be able to see them on the laptop, they have to pop up in the corner, and I hope I read them. But in the meantime, see my little SuperSquid squid lid there on the right, on the left. Let's get going, see how we do. It's a bit fun if we drove these. And it's been even longer, I think, since I drove and commentated. But I better put the radar on. I think it's a getaway now, actually. See, we've got doors behind me though, so anything can happen. Let's have a look if we head down towards turn 1. Should we get a braking point right? Dorsey is already through the back of my car. Just what I was hoping to see. Mr. Tillman's gone for a spin. I think I need to make a getaway. I've got Bradley Carter now in P2, just back in the slipstream. I've always got a braking point there looking in my mirror. That's grass, that's not what I want it to be. That's a third wheel, try and bounce the throttle through the double left here. That's a penalty for my troubles as well. Now on the brakes. No dive off from Brad though, so at least I can trust him, I think. Now on the throttle there, let the downforce of the car do the work for me. Up to the third, fourth. Oh, definitely quite flat there. Little lift here or there. Always running off the track. Brad left the track, that's not good for him. He's almost on the other side of the grass. Yeah, done very well there. Spot there. Oh, I forgot we're going for the short track. I was going for the long one there. Pro tactic there. Always aim for the wrong layout of the track. Correct it when you see it on the track map. Anyway, we're 1.2 second lead, I think we're doing alright. And that's just the G29 do G29 thing. Yeah, over the brakes. Oh, that's definitely too early. I always forget where that apex is. Might put the map on, get the further radar until I get a little bit closer. But he is getting closer though. You can see Terminator and will be hot on their heels as well. Excellent throttle through there. Now we're on the power. Just a little left with the first left. Back on and off again. And now on the brakes. Hard on the brakes. We're a little bit too late there, but they're going for that later apex. Feed the power. Almost spinning out there. But just saving it with the upshift. Now we're in fourth. Can we go flat? No, I think we need to lift through the middle. But now flat again for that last rumble strip. We definitely pulled away from Brad there. Got that half a tenth, now it's a whole tenth. I think our braking spot just there, I think. Maybe a little bit too late to try it again next lap. He's all the exit curve, and now he's got a foot down up in the fourth. As we cross the line. At 107.3. Willie Dilo is faster at 106.5, so definitely got some time to make up. He's going to be on the march in the next few laps. Try there, just that yellow, that orange crack around the side, that has seemed to work. Tight as we can, watch that wide again, all the natural momentum again. Only 300 horsepower in these, so not a lot to play with. But the real speed comes through these kind of sections, all the handling, the downforce on these. Red Bull Juniors designed by Red Bull, who's the Chief Technical Executive, Adrian Newey. I'm sure all the work it's going to work with Aston Martin, during their partnership with Red Bull on the Valkyrie project. It's a tremendously exciting car in itself. A massive Cosworth V12 in it. It's 6 litre V12, it's like 700 horsepower. Milking it for as much as they can, and it sounds tremendous. I thoroughly urge you to go and watch a clip of it if you can on YouTube. There's another version of it being done by Top Gear recently. And they've also made a Spider, a convertible version where the roof kind of clips out. Not sure why you'd want a convertible track race car like that, which goes for that LMP experience or the old prototypes. But I tell you, the soundtrack would be amazing, no need for a stereo on that. Not with a Congo Revin NAV12. You know, Sebastian Vettel's quite fond of those. Doing fairly well here, got 1.2 over Bradley Carter. Willie D is up into third though, so I think he's the one that I'm really watching out for. This of course I've become my own worst enemy at this corner. I think he's doing okay. In fact, there's Willie D just behind me, he's really caught up. Put my foot down, I think. Willie D's got to feel as hard as you can. Oh, just about saved that. That might look good on the replay, but not so good on the stream. I cocked that one up. A little bit better there. Richie is finished, he's just watching. Okay, well, just as well, he did start about 5 minutes ago. And then Lindy's now got past Brad, you can see he's now got that contract back off of me there, only by a tenth or so. But it is concerning that he's starting to reel me in. Richie has overdosed on race fuel, it seems there. A little bit too much in the tank for him, and he's going to call it a night. The shame is when he's not glugging, he's pretty nippy. I think maybe he's have a bit more of a chill Friday night than myself, so I can't blame him. And everyone's got their different lifestyles, different jobs. Definitely wants to have a relaxed one. No problem at all, buddy. Thanks for dropping into the session this evening. And thanks for bringing Fiona as well. It's always nice to have her in the lobby. And of course, if there are any female or otherwise identifying sim racers that they want to get involved, we can absolutely guarantee that ART is a fully inclusive community. We don't care who you are, where you're from, how good you are, how long you've had the game. We just want you to be part of our team. We want you to have a great time with us and enjoy racing. It's ultimately Grand Prix Sports will get a little bit stale over the past few years. It's just we've got the new game coming out. We really hope it brings some new life into the franchise. But if you're looking for that last big hit before you move over to GT7, I can guarantee that Amigos Racing Team is the place to be. So again, that link is in the Discord, link to the Discord is in the description if you want to get involved, and I would thoroughly urge it. I've only been with ART for just over a year or so, I think, but I would not change anything. A really great bunch of people, awesome array of events on for anyone of any ability, for any kind of car or event type. There's something for everybody, so really worth signing up if you're on the fence. Absolutely do it. And if you're still tuned in, and you're already part of ART, don't hesitate to share. Spread the word to your friends. Put it on the Gran Turismo pages. Really put us out there. Because obviously the more the merrier. What we're after. I will say there's more merrier. It's not what I'm after right now. I've just got 2 Red Bulls staring me down on the home straight, and I've got about half a race to go. Weirdly, has done a tremendous job of reading me in. And I think now's the time where I need to shut my mouth and focus on the task at hand. I don't think I'll be in P1 for much longer at this rate. He's broke his time up again by another 2 tenths. Really is trying to hunt me down here. Of course, doing all this on the pad as well. It's by no means an easy feat. So props to really do. Big respect. I think that's why my only hope is I can't keep in the bay. Try and push him back towards Bradley Carter. And hope that they can have a fight and I can pull away again. I think this braking zone here as well, my Achilles heel, I just can't find the right bit. He's braking really late as well, right at my airbox. I've got these Red Bulls as well, so sleekly designed with the slipstream. It's like throwing a fishing hook at a motorboat and just being dragged along, almost like on skins. Definitely going to in the braking zone, maybe just a little bit brave on the brakes than I am, but of course he's not got YouTube on his back, potentially about to hand him in the comments. Ooh, I say that though, that YouTube will have me for that one. Let's get on the power, let's get out there. I did just about to pull away from him, but I've lost some more time in that tricky section now. There's some more time, I'll probably have a 60 now surely, and I think I am, yeah, 8.5 tenths, 9 tenths. So this is much better for me. That's Rebecca's way in sector 2. Really good through that final sector. He gets my power early, but I think now he's worried about Bradley Carter just behind him. Finally into the 1.5. His head back in the best lap. I'm really going to try to sort something out in these last few laps. I guess with 6 minutes to go, I've probably got another 5 or 6 laps left here or something. I think he's made a mistake though, he's quite far back now. And now 2 tenths purple, this is margin to pull away. Not sure. Go, get 2, still get happy on the throttle. Easy now, keep the brakes. Feel the balancing, now on the power. Try to stick on the apex now. Keep flat as much as I can. The lift there, it's just going to wash out, and there's the other apex, but I should have kept a bit tighter there I think. Don't get too much that on trip on the inside, really just start ringing in again. Still up on my personal best, but I've cost myself that purple lap, I think now. Drop, try to pull away. We are doing alright now. Just so good in that last sector. Wow, I've actually equalled my previous lap. How's that for consistency? Later on the brake. Later on the apex, that's better. Now I know I can brake just after that little yellow paint on the crash band. How's that doing for my lap time? Almost a tenth purple, that's good to see. Now let's try and push through here. This is where he's so quick. That's a much better turn there. But he's still reading in if you look at the delta. Now was 1.6, now it's 1.5. Close there, might now be 1.4. Just towing and throwing. But now I'm better. I'll put him on his purple lap, but that's not the best line for me. And over the bumps as well, he's not going to give any favours. Look at that purple lap, he's very impressed. Oh, just shy. Half a tenth minute. Now I'm going to put a lap traffic count in front of me. I think that's 9.4. Actually look at the braking zone, just about kept us on. Might well be Mike's in P4, of course he loves the top of the list, it's not Mike. Who am I missing? I can't remember who's in the lobby. It might be Carl Toner. It might be the other guy, John. Who else can it be? Catch up to the find out. Oh, we're not like that. How close really do you? 1.77. See, I've lost 4 tenths of that, so I really had an awful lap there. I've been driving terribly. Trying to figure out who's ahead of me rather than keep my eyes on the prize. What's going on? It's like a three-way back to you or something. I need to tell you. I need a couple minutes left. 3 years late, 2.5 minutes. I break a little bit late today. A little late, on the power. Come on. Still being fun to really do. That first one, you just know where to break. I don't know the breaking point to me. Maybe in a GR2 car, I'd be okay, but in these juniors, I've never driven around here. So there's Tilly in P2, P10. I can get around here as quick as I can. These cars, as light and grippy as they are, they're absolutely useless in the dirty air. Especially for these long, fast corners like this. I've really got to get rid of them as soon as I can. Let's see if I can slip you down straight, flash my lights, hopefully I'll drag out of the way. They're all getting up on me in the party chat. We won't know until we get to the interview. But it's going fairly well so far. Got it in a straight line. Really put a step down now, Willie D. Just about a second away. Just got to hope he slips in or standing up away from them a bit more. That breaks himself, that'll do for me, but really put me off. Losing the slipstream. Really got to fight for these now. If I finish second, I'd be very happy, but you're not going to lead the whole way. I really don't want to spoil it now. Oh, there goes Terminator. That's one left hard to deal with. I hope that put me off a bit as well. I don't think so. He's a bit clean through that corner. He's got my slipstream, he's got my dirty air. A little bit for these longest corners, but he's made that one better than me as well. So I've really not got much chance to try and fend him off. Oh, he's got a big dive up the inside. Goodness me. Oh, and I'm on the dirt now, it's no good. Oh, come on, really. I think that's a bit much there. We were quite a way away. Investigation for that one, I think, but that's a bit of a last lap lunge. I'm not particularly happy with that one, but what can you do? Do I lunge in from here? Oh, can I do it for YouTube? No, I'm not going to do that. That's not very far. So let's do that. No dice today. And I saw that one coming from a mile away. No hassle, come on. I went on to Brad as well, keeping P3. Good race from him. I think we're going to get a chance to see what exactly that was all about. So, I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm saving that replay. And a little bit suspect that final move there from Widdy D. But oh, it was good fun nonetheless. So we'll head to the results and party chat for the final time this evening. And quickly catch up with all of our drivers. Good evening, everybody. You're live on ART TV. Keep it clean. Speaking of clean, Willie D, explain.
You went wide. I had to send it.
I mean, you sent that first class with like triple stamps. I don't think you get lunges like that in professional fencing. It was fairly aggressive, but I can understand you've done it for the stream. Give the commenters what they want.
I wanted to win as well.
You wanted a win as well. It's not like I've sat on the side for 4 races, but fair enough. Whatever floats your boat, buddy. Let's have a look. Anyone else you haven't talked to? Cantona.
Hello.
I completely forgot to catch up with you after the Sardinia race, P3. That was fantastic.
Well, it turned into a car park, really, to be fair, so...
You still drove well.
You did drive very well. You can't take that away from you at all. Fantastic job from you. Mentioning car park, though, no hassle. Start line, lap down, sideways. Can't park there, mate.
I can't still find my pocket watch. I'm still looking for that, and my 9th sider. If I can find that, then I'll get back on track.
And you're looking for Ryan as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to race tonight as Hass's badge, you know, but didn't have any money in my Canadian account and no Celine Dion liveries or Jack Villeneuve quotes. So, yeah.
You could have gone as Justin Bieber.
That is true, didn't think of that. Not really my age range, to be fair. I'm more like Titanic-y. There you go. And look, our mate Ranger's joined now, Ranger Danger.
Oh, Ranger?
You missed out. He has just joined the lobby.
Oh,
everyone said he was late at birth,
and
now he's left. Yeah.
Would you like to find out why? Tune into the stream. Yeah, thank you for everyone for turning up this evening. It has been very good fun. Great to commentate on. That Northern Isles Speedway race was absolutely manic.
It was hilarious.
Thanks for everyone for tuning in. We're going to cut the stream there. We're going to call it a night and leave you to the start of what should be a wonderful weekend. Everyone in the party, you want to say bye-bye for us?
Bye. Not looking forward to when you join back, Squid.
And I've been
see
your
you in a minute, Squid. Love you. Miss you.
We'll see you in the next one. Have a lovely